commissions? Specifically one with a huge more attack?
Heck yeah, Paimon. Hello, baby gangsters. This is Calvin, also known as Orman. This is my first ever playthrough of Genshin Impact. The more lucrative, the better. Let's go. Let's go, Paimon.
For quality work and speedy results, choose Paimon and the Traveler.
We will get sidetracked and emotionally attached to whoever is giving the commission.
It's always a pleasure to see our two most avid adventurers again. Looking for the next challenge, I see.
Hopefully. It's interesting talking to you, Catherine.
We do in fact have a rather urgent commission that is still open. Having read the details, however, I don't believe you'd consider it to be lucrative.
I'm sure I'll be fine. I'm sure I'll be fine.
Don't worry about that.
The little shake of the
We're
finger.
just kidding. So what's the situation?
Yeah.
To put it simply, the requester is looking for a temporary replacement actress for their musical. The original cast member ran into some issues and is currently unable to perform the role. But the troupe has also been experiencing some financial difficulties, so unfortunately they cannot afford to pay the replacement actress.
Fair enough.
That does sound like a tricky situation. So basically they're looking for a volunteer?
That's right. Our adventurers reached out to many actresses, but none of them were willing to take the job. There are only a few days left until the performance.
So did you want us to find a...
If they can't find someone in time, they'll probably have to postpone the show. And delays tend to create all sorts of new problems.
100%. Yes, anyone who's been in a play knows this. Like, delays tend to like up the budget as well in a lot of ways.
Oh, this one's a doozy. What do you think, Traveler? Any ideas? Even if we took the commission, neither of us have any experience starring in musicals.
I mean, I could try. Very true.
If you're interested in helping, why not start by having a chat with the requester?
Okay.
He's right over there. Maybe you can't fill the role yourselves, but you might be able to help him figure out another solution. Maybe there's something he hasn't thought of.
Oh, it's that guy, huh? No wonder, he looks like he just ate a sour lemon.
Okay, Paimon. I love Paimon so much. Got it.
Paimon approved, let's go.
Let's have this out. Let's have this out. Talk to this man over here about his commission. So this is the Furina story quest.
Are you the guy looking for a new actress?
I wonder, are we going to be getting Furina to try and do the story quest? I know canonically, by the way, this takes place well after the actual Archon quest. Don't worry. I think a lot of people sometimes worry about that, and I understand. You're totally right to let me know that. But also, like, it's just like most video games. Some missions don't take place right after the other ones. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to take it like that sometimes as well. You know. While some games take place day after the other, like some games you have to like take it as like weeks have passed, days have passed, which we can always do that.
Wait, I know you two. Are you really willing to act in my musical?
Yeah, the both of us are going to do it together.
Wow, sounds like we're pretty famous in Fontaine already. But to answer your question, neither of us have any experience in musicals. But we heard that you're in a bit of a bind, so we figured we could at least try to help you think of a solution.
Ah, I see. It's okay. I knew that asking for a volunteer was a long shot. If we can't find someone to step in, we'll have no choice but to cancel the show. It would be such a shame.
Can't you cover the budget for a new actress with ticket fees?
That's the thing. We're not some high-profile theater troupe, just a group of amateur enthusiasts.
Okay.
All our sets and props are very crude. We're grateful enough just to get an audience, never mind ticket fees.
Right, okay, so everything's kind of like very, kind of like, strung together, I suppose.
If we had a way to make this profitable, things might have turned out differently. But now, it looks inevitable we'll disband.
Because it's not even just about, it's an actual disbanding because you're not going to have any money left.
Disband? You're splitting up the
That would be
troupe?
horrible. Yeah, that wouldn't be nice at all.
Oh, I guess the lady at the Adventurers Guild didn't tell you? Yeah, this is supposed to be our final show together as a troupe.
Okay.
One last show. And after that, we go our separate ways. So we were really hoping to end on a high note. Nobody wants things to just fizzle out. Not after all the time and effort we've invested into it.
Catherine mentioned that one of your actresses can't make it. Yeah, I can totally understand where he's coming from, for sure.
The leading lady, in fact. She's been dealing with a chronic illness
Oh,
ever
wow,
since childhood.
okay.
And unfortunately, it flared up again recently.
That's not good.
It really drains all her energy, so she's in no state to perform. The show just won't be the same without her. But for everyone else's sake, I still hope we can find a way to hold the performance on schedule.
Got it. We have a clearer picture now. Let's see if we can come up with any ideas.
No, that's good. That's good. Thanks for letting us know.
What if we sponsored the show? Traveler, how much more are you carrying?
Paimon, I just upgraded Hu Tao's weapon, so I don't think I have much, I'll be honest with you.
Please, there's no need to go that far. I wouldn't feel right asking such a huge favor. And I can't promise that we'd ever be able to pay you back.
More isn't the biggest problem, it's who we find someone to fit the role. Yeah, someone good enough to fit the role.
If the actress just goes through the motions for the Mora, that's not exactly rescuing the show.
Yeah, it has to be someone who has the same passion, I suppose.
We should find someone who will put on the best performance possible.
Okay.
Oh, wait! What about... you know who?
Great minds think alike, I was just thinking that.
That's how you know we're the best of partners.
Always, always.
She should have all the free time in the world right now.
Yes, but also... it will take a long time to get over the stuff that she's gone through, you know? So, yeah.
She's really good at performing, and she was once super popular with the crowd. Performing in a musical should be a piece of cake for her.
I mean, it would be, like, again, if she's at top form, it definitely would be, but I just hope she's okay.
Who are you thinking of? Sounds like someone famous.
Furina.
Her? You're... that was a joke.
Be careful what you say, okay? Be careful what you say, buddy.
Nope. Paimon doesn't actually know if she's performed on stage before, but Paimon's pretty confident that she'd be really good at it.
Yeah, the voice acting for Paimon.
You're not wrong there. She has actually performed in a number of big-name shows
Very
before.
cool.
They were one of the reasons she was so popular. But even if she's no longer the Hydro Archon, it's not like she's suddenly a commoner. She's still an idol to many people in Fontaine, including myself. I just think Lady Furina might feel a bit out of place in an amateur troupe like ours.
Well, we'll ask her and see how she feels. You want to show to go ahead, don't you?
Well, yes, but... fair enough. I mean, if she was actually willing to, then of course I'd be honored to have Lady Furina star in our show. I'm sure the rest of the troupe would be delighted too.
Sure.
I'm sure everyone in our troupe has probably dreamt of performing on stage with her one day. Of course, it all depends on whether she's interested. She might consider this opportunity beneath her.
Well, I have no idea. We haven't spoken to her since what happened back in Act 5.
No point in stressing about that. We'll only know if we ask her. And besides, things are different now. There's no reason for her to be all high and mighty anymore.
She's still high and mighty to be, though, Paimon, I'll be honest with you. I still revere her how much she went through. She's more powerful than most Archons, being able to go through what she went through as a human. Let's go. It'll be good to go check it. Yes, 100%.
Thank you for your help. I guess I'll just stay here.
We'll let the clap and go by today. For today.
Good luck.
Since we're in a weird mood.
Wait, where does Furina actually live nowadays? She used to live in luxury at the Palais Mermonia, but she's moved out.
Yeah, she packed her
right?
bags. She packed her bags and
As
left.
it happens, I have her current address here. I can provide it to you.
Okay.
Woo! When did you get here?
She was just there.
I came over when things were starting to sound more promising. I thought I should be at the ready in case my assistance is needed. It is my duty to support commissioners in any way I can.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Well, now that we've got the address, we'll go find Furina. Back in a jiffy.
Perfect. No, that's great. Okay, so this is the Little OC in it. Little OC in it is the name of the quest. Yeah, like, I'm really interested to see how Furina is, because, like, yeah, ask about Furina's disposition, because, like, it's a pretty serious thing that she went through, and, like, here's the thing, yes, she's not high and mighty anymore, yes, she's not an Archon anymore, but the truth is, she's still, like, really powerful in my mind, and I don't think many Archons, if you told them, like, if you told Venti or Zhongli or I what Furina went through, they'd be like, that's absolutely horrible for an Archon to go through that. Then if I said to them, hey, but they had no powers of an Archon through the whole time, and they were human, and they had to lie for they'd be like, okay, that's terrific. Horrific, by the way. I almost said terrific there. First of all, this is my party for today. This is 6 Feet Funder. And, like, it's basically, like because she's a funeral director, and I thought 6 Feet Fun and Under, Funder. I always, like, worry about names, because, like, I like to have them be fun, like, kind of fun, names. But I think, like, it's just, like, funder, like, and it's also, like, giving funds, I guess, also, which kind of makes sense to, yeah, it's Hu Tao, Barbara, Xing, Shou, and Layla. Really, like, I'm going for, like, Vaporize a lot. Barbara's just there just in case. And she's very good because her little bit of healing does really well for Hu Tao. Layla's there as a shielder. She's my most powerful shielder. Again, it's going to interrupt the Vaporize, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. Especially for what our needs are for today. We also have a bunch of wishes on the standard banner that I definitely want to do. We have 7 wishes just from leveling up characters and getting prizes. You never know what you get. Even like a good 4-star, because we got like Haizo on this as well. And weapons are good too. You know, a few bows would be nice actually. You never know what you could get. Cool steel. And 7 wishes is nice. You know, it's nice to wish for something anyway. A 4-star? Yeah, we get a 4-star weapon. Yunjin. Great. We have a Yunjin constellation. That's fantastic. Did not expect that at all to get a Yunjin constellation, but we'll take it 100%. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, sure. Sure, we'll get that. And then one more wish after this, and then we'll go on with the story quest. Yeah. Honestly, great. Really great. How many days do we have left? 4 days left in this, so next week will be that as well. Okay, let's go and ask about Furina. Because again, I want to see how Furina's doing. I understand, like, you know, as well, like, you know, that if she's, you know, feeling a bit down right now, it would also be understandable. Her house is, like, very normal, right? Very normal.
Did Catherine really give us the right address?
It's a nice house.
She lives here?
Like, it's a normal house, but it's nice.
Not that there's anything wrong with this place. It's just,
yeah.
a bit of a step
No,
down
I get
from
what
the
you're saying.
Hollywood
I get what you're
one.
saying. It is, like, you know, it's very
No,
different.
It's common
Oh my
courtesy
God.
to make sure the homeowner isn't an earshot when you're denigrating their abode.
Oh my god, the difference in the voice coming towards us now, right? Like, difference in the voice.
Okay, when did Poppy Got a Thin Air become all the way? First Catherine and now you?
I think it's just because me and Paimon, like, are so focused on our, like what we're doing that, like, sometimes we just don't see people
I
coming.
was just out on a shopping trip. I ran out of macaroni, so I went to grab a few more
Oh my god, a
bags.
girl after my own heart. Are you kidding me? Macaroni. Get a bit of pasta.
I used to have a much wider range of choices when it came to food. But now I'm finding that simple, traditional home cooking
That's nice.
can be quite delicious
Something to
too.
do as well, right? Don't you get sick of macaroni every day?
Not at all. As long as you have different kinds of sauces in, you can have macaroni and tomato sauce one week,
Yes.
macaroni and bolognese the next.
Okay, okay. So she's doing meal plans.
Oh, sounds like you're really struggling to cope.
Is it because you have, do all your own cooking now? I mean, she's doing it in steps, right? If you have to, like, all of a sudden learn your own cooking.
How rude. Questioning my cooking skills. The audacity.
You're probably great, right? You're probably great. It's just that if you have people cooking for you all the time, it can get really difficult to, like, get into the idea of cooking, and you're starting off right? Even if you're making stuff, like, in meal planning, prep and stuff, I guess.
It's not like I have a very eventful life these
The
days.
voice acting's crazy.
Actually,
It's crazy.
barely leave the house. So I don't see how it's unusual that my meals are a little simpler now too.
I think, like, by the way, I don't think they use macaroni by accident, by the way. It's a cheap meal. It's not cheap, but, like, it can be cheap. It can be very, and it can last a while. But also, it's very simplistic, right? And I think after 500 years of pretending to be an Archon, the first dish you might want to eat is a bit of macaroni. You know, a bit of pasta, you know?
Besides, I'm sure I could master dishes like la lettre focilor or blubber profiteroles in no time, if I felt so inclined.
There's the bit of, like, the old, like, Furina in there as well, in that part of the voice acting.
Ah, there it is. You don't know how to cook.
Jesus, Paimon.
Not yet, maybe, but... Anyway, what are you even doing here? I do hope you didn't come here just to ogle at my fall from grace.
Not at all. I genuinely wanted to check in on
Let
you.
me first be clear that I'm not taking guests at this time. So if you're just here to clown around, then please be on your way. Shoot!
You tell us.
Sorry, we're sorry. Please don't be mad.
Paimon was just showing concern for your well-being. But yeah, I can totally get, like, again, like, I'm already kind of getting emotional because I'm still in Act 5 mode, I'll be honest with you guys. Like, you know, I said, it's still emotionally impactful, right? And it's hard for that to leave you, right? Furina, like, is a character here, like, again, that's, like, trying the simpler life out. Again, even if she's, like, you know, if she likes it or doesn't like it, it's such an interesting, you know, take from this game to show her, like, you know, trying out the much more simpler life. And honestly, like, I think in a way it's going to be difficult, but, like, it might be good for her as well.
Yeah, exactly what the traveler said. Paimon wasn't trying to make fun of you. Hang on a sec. You weren't exactly holding back either.
That's not important.
My help? Well, maybe you're forgetting that I'm no longer the mighty Hydro Archon. I don't even have a vision, you know.
Don't worry, it's nothing that serious. It's just very specific, and you're the one with the power to help.
You're the only person for the job. I don't really want to put this pressure on her, but we'll say it, I guess.
Well, if that's the case, then fine. I'll spare you the lecture about your attitude just now.
If it helps you, you lecture us. If it helps you out, Furina, you lecture us.
So tell me, what specifically makes this matter so specific?
You tell Furina about the Troupe's plans for the final performance.
I see. I knew you couldn't have come all this way just to amuse
Never,
yourselves at
never,
my expense.
never, no, never, Furina. Like, I'm already feeling emotional because I absolutely adore you and everything you went through. Even seeing you makes me feel very emotional.
After all, I was once the
This music.
brightest star in all of Fontaine, well versed in all the various performing arts. A mere musical is well within my capabilities.
Okay. If you're up for it, that's great.
But given the present circumstances, I'm afraid I must regretfully decline your casting request.
Okay, fair enough.
How come? It sounds like this would be a breeze for you.
True, but I have made a decision to retire from the stage.
Fair enough. Honestly, if that's your choice.
Although I am no longer required to play the role of the Hydro Archon, the time I spent inhabiting that character has left an indelible mark on me.
Furina, that's so understandable. That's so understandable.
Centuries of pretending to be a different person changes you completely. I'm not the same person I once was.
Of course. Of course.
Of course, that can't be undone now. It's too late, and I have no intention of reinventing myself all over again.
I can totally understand that, like, going back on the stage and doing another character at any point after pretending to be someone for 500 years would be incredibly difficult. And I think difficult is like an understatement.
But at least I can say that I no longer desire to play any new roles.
So that's how you would feel? I think it's so understandable.
Paimon can understand.
Yeah, 100%.
But this is just a one-off part to fill in for someone who's sick. Surely that's okay.
I think as well, like, from Paimon's perspective, right, like, of course, it's hard to, like, put yourself in other people's shoes. That's why I'm not going to, like, kill Paimon and, like, be rude to Paimon over anything, I guess. And you know I never would be rude to Paimon. I don't think it's a need to be rude at all. I think that, like, it's hard to put yourself in someone else's shoes. It's also hard to, like, you know, because, you know, we sometimes trivialize stuff that, like, that is belonging to other people, right? Sometimes someone will say stuff like, you know, I don't want to ride a bicycle because I hurt myself when I was like 10. And that's such like a bad analogy because what Furina went through is so bad. It's so bad. And like we sometimes will be like, it's just a bike, dude. Get on the bike. You know? Now I wouldn't do that, but like some people might, and some people might, like, you know, we've done it once in our lives where it slips our mind, right? Because like we're only human at some points and we say stuff that like is sometimes that we don't mean. In this case, it is one of those things where like even if a one-time performance hurts Furina that much, I'm 100% willing to let this go and, like, you know, yes, the troupe will die out, right? But you're talking about, like, the difference to me is, like, you know, the troupe is dying out or Furina goes through the horrible memory that happened again. And I think 500 years worth of pretending to be someone else is, you know, worse than a troupe dying out, personally.
Whether it's a one-off or not, it's a boundary that I've committed to no longer cross.
That's fair. That's totally fair, Furina. That's totally fair.
If I make an exception to the rule now, I'm just leaving a back door for
That's
myself.
totally fair.
Which would be the same as not having a boundary in the first place.
That is totally fair. Give an inch and people might take a mile.
So I'm not going to perform, and that is that.
If that's how you truly feel, I'm all for that.
Okay, guess there's no convincing you. Well, is there anything else we can do to help out the troupe? Otherwise, they'll just have to disband without any fanfare. Do you know any other actors who might be interested in the role?
Nope.
Short and to the point. Okay.
Yeah, I think she right now is trying to develop a firm boundary where she's saying that even if I don't even want to tell you another actor or something like this, because then that means I am leaving another back door open, like, or a window open.
I've never been great at maintaining relationships. Besides, anyone I've ever worked with probably couldn't wait to get rid of
Oh
me.
no, don't even say that, friend. You're going to make me cry again. You're going to make me cry. You're fantastic. You're absolutely fantastic.
Since I'm just an ordinary person now, They'll probably just laugh in my face if I go asking them for help.
You shouldn't assume, again, I don't want to say to make one exception. I'm going to say you shouldn't assume with the worst in people, because I guess that's a better option. Again, I really think that from her perspective, like a lot of her mind and her perception of reality in the world is probably going to be a little bit different to us.
But, I mean, could you even blame them? I show up out of the blue, begging and groveling for their help with a show they won't even get paid for? Oh, no way. I'm dying from embarrassment just thinking about it. Nope, not happening.
She's panicking. Do not worry about this. No, and the thing is, like, she also, before she went through the trauma of, like, you know, the release of trauma from the 500 years, it's not a release because it's still there. She was also, like, you know, used to die from the idea of embarrassment as well. The idea of embarrassment was a very, you know, and she also had to pick herself up constantly from that embarrassment.
Well, is there anything else we can do? This performance really means a lot to the guy we're working for.
That's fine for him. Like, honestly, that's fine for him.
Have I not made myself clear?
You have.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't want this job, nor do I know of anyone else who would.
I think as well from Paimon's perspective, like, we're so used to after we finish up a story with people, like you know, it's very rare that, like, they don't want to, like, at least, like, interact with us in some way, shape, or form after, you know, in their story quest to find out exactly what makes them tick. So from Paimon's perspective, she's thinking, we've gone on this journey this whole time. We literally fought the Raiden Shogun, and the Raiden Shogun tried to kill us, and we brought the Raiden Shogun on a trip to a light novel house, right? So, like, from Paimon's perspective and from the traveler's perspective, we're thinking, like, oh man, like, this should be a cinch. Like, you know, like everyone talks to us afterwards, and we all have developed friendships afterwards, you know? But in this case, I really think Furina is not bad for setting a really difficult, like, a hard boundary here. I don't think she's bad at all.
Sorry. I didn't mean for that to sound so
It's okay.
harsh. I wish I could help, really. But if I thought I had the answer to this problem, I would have said so by now.
Yeah.
It's all right, Furina. Paimon just wanted to make sure we tried everything. Oh, everyone in the troupe will be so disappointed.
They will be. And Furina, it's not your responsibility. Let's try and come up with a plan B. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, I guess that's all
Yeah,
we can do
that's what we'll do.
now. All right, then. We'll see you around, Furina.
Please take care of yourself, Furina. I've been holding back tears this whole time just looking at you. I'm being honest with you, and I don't want to say, I know it's a horrible thing to say.
Toodaloo.
Toodaloo.
To you, too. I'm going home to take a rest.
Enjoy your macaroni, please. Please do enjoy your macaroni. You've earned it. You've earned all the macaroni. Please let us cook for you sometime. $500 years is a long time. It's a long, long time. Pass on the word about Furina's views. Yeah, I don't think she's wrong for setting that boundary.
We have to respect Furina's decision.
Exactly.
Maybe the thought of performing brings up too many painful
Yeah.
memories now.
Yeah, 100% Paimon. You're right. You're right. And I think it's a case as well of like some, again, like I said, we're so used to, like, you know, and it sounds so strange, and I think it's really amazing what this game is doing. Like, all of a sudden this game was like, yo, like, this time it's not going to work that easily, where, like, you know, people want to, like, respect you greatly after, and, like, it's not that Furina is disrespecting us at all, but it's like kind of a situation like, you know, Venti wanted to talk to us afterwards, Zhongli wanted to talk to us afterwards, you know, A is probably the perfect example of this, and Vaughn even, of someone who we interacted with a little bit afterwards, but that was like in events and stuff. But even at that, like, he didn't want to interact with too much. But we're so used to, after big Archon quest, being able to interact with a lot of characters after their big moments, that I think that, you know, it's tough on us. It's tough on Furina more than anything. And then, like, we have to, like, you know, respect that boundary as well. We definitely do. Buddy, your troop is dying. It's dead. It's over.
Huh? What's going on? Are they arguing?
That's besides the point. I'll ask you again. Why did you start looking for a replacement without my consent? When did I tell you I'm going to take a step
Oh,
back?
she's the performer okay.
You didn't need to say it. We've known each other for how long now? We know the signs.
Okay.
But you never tell us about your illness, even when it's clearly flaring up.
And that gives you the right to make a decision on my behalf?
Big argument happening here, huh,
Shortly
Catherine?
after you left, the troupe's lead actress came to the Adventurers Guild. She believes that she's healthy enough to perform. Excuse me, but can you both take a moment to discuss something else for now? The adventurer assigned to your commission has returned.
Sorry, I was just dealing with a little misunderstanding. So, how did your conversation with Furina go?
She ain't doing it.
Sadly, it's a no from her. We tried to persuade her, but she wasn't having it. She doesn't want to play the role for personal reasons.
Yeah.
I see. Well, circumstances have changed a little, so maybe that's not such bad news after all. You see, our leading lady has just informed me that she's well enough to make it to the show after all. Staging the musical with the full original cast was always
There
the
you go.
dream, of course.
Fantastic.
Oh, right. Sounds like everything worked itself out then.
Imagine we had Vince Carina to join only to find out she's no longer needed. Yes. Imagine stepping over her boundary to the point that we got her to join. Wait. Look at the dress over here. Only to find out she's no longer needed.
Yeah, she'd be livid. We'd get the scolding of a lifetime.
Honestly, that sucks in real life no matter what. You know when someone like desperately tries to convince you over and over again to go somewhere and then a party gets cancelled? Even at that. I know that, again, that's not comparable, but you know what I mean? The baseline of that is frustrating. Like, it's so frustrating.
Jeez, is Lady Furina really so harsh with people?
No, she was honest.
Only joking. Calm down. So, guess we can consider this case
People aren't
closed
used to
now,
Paimon's
huh?
humor. As we said, Paimon would start a rivalry with a broomstick. She could, and we love her for it.
Despite the fact that we failed to complete the commission, we were still racking our brains for ideas on the way back here.
Look, there's no point arguing with you about this anymore. You've made yourself very clear, so I'll stop looking for a replacement. This is the last chance we have, though. If your illness flares up again, there won't be time to find anyone to replace you. So, are you absolutely sure you'll be able to handle it? The whole team is putting everything they have into this final performance. We have to make sure it goes ahead.
Yes, I'm completely confident. I've been taking a new medication from the doctor, and it's working brilliantly. I'll definitely be able to tough it out until the performance day. I share everyone's desire to commemorate all our years as a troupe with a proper farewell show. So the last thing I want is to be left out.
Well, this is what she wants.
Every one of us thinks of this troupe as their home, myself included.
You're right. I'm sorry. I let myself get too worried about the show. I should have asked for your permission first.
All's well that ends well. Sounds like the show will go on.
You saw it too, didn't you? Yep.
Sure.
You saw it too. Don't leave Paimon for too long, though. Our sweetheart. Furina, are you okay? Oh my god, she's hiding him under that. You okay? Wait, what?
Hey, how did you... I was just passing by because I realized I forgot a couple of items on my shopping list.
She's allowed to live here. What are we grabbing her hand for?
All right, I'm coming. No need to drag me.
What do you mean? Just ask her to come over.
Hello, one and all. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation just now.
Furina? Didn't you say you were gonna take a rest at home? What are you doing here?
I was just ever so slightly concerned about the situation you mentioned. Yes, a teensy bit concerned, that's all.
You don't have to do this at all. You don't. You don't have to do this, Furina.
When you came to talk with me earlier, I jumped right to explaining my position and said some strongly worded things.
It was so fair to set your boundaries. I'm telling you this. Can I scream through the screen?
And all before I even had a full grasp of the situation. Anyway, I just feel a bit bad about how it went down.
Do not. It's not your responsibility whatsoever.
I'm sorry, Paimon.
Look, that's very sweet. That's very sweet, but I think even Paimon understood that you were setting boundaries.
Oh, it's totally fine. Paimon didn't
Yeah.
take any of that personally.
Paimon, again, like, the fact that Paimon didn't argue with you means that she does care, right? We love Paimon because, like, again, she will make up a nickname about someone, like a freaking piece of candy if it moves off the table too fast. You know, if it falls off the table. Why don't you just show yourself? She's obviously nervous, I guess.
You really have a knack for asking the most uncomfortable questions, don't you?
I can probably guess.
I felt very sheepish, having had a change of heart after flatly refusing you. And then, to make matters worse, you caught me.
It's okay. It's 100% okay.
But in any case, it sounds like the issue has already been resolved.
Yeah. When they said they were gonna ask for your help, I almost had a heart attack. I mean, how could we be worthy of having Lady Furina star in our show?
There's no need to think like that, and no need to keep addressing me as lady. Just Furina is fine.
She wants to be treated normally.
I was wondering, if this troupe is so important to all of you, why does it have to disband? If the difficulties are purely financial, then there must be a solution. You could put the shows on pause while you look for a sponsor, for instance.
Great insight here as well from
Everyone
Furina.
seems so devoted to the troupe. I'm sure if you keep chipping away, you'll find a way through.
Right. Fantastic advice.
We all want to believe that, but some things are just beyond our control.
I have a feeling in the pit of my stomach right now. And just to explain how I'm feeling, I have a really like burning feeling in the pit of my stomach of like a lot of concern. And like, again, like I want to say, I don't think like we have any bad intentions whatsoever. We you know, our characters are the most caring characters you could ever meet in the world. You know, I just, you know, even like now, I like, she didn't, you know, the first thing I would have done if I saw her hiding, you know, I wouldn't even have called it out. You know what I mean? I wouldn't even have called personally.
Everything's
That's me
been
personally.
going downhill ever since we lost our director. She was the heart and soul of our troupe. She kept us going.
Her name was O'Reilly, and she was the founder as well as the artistic director of our troupe. And tragically, she was a victim in the serial disappearances case.
Jesus. So she's like, she was an Oceanid. Or she is an Oceanid.
That's actually how I recognized these two. It was all thanks to their efforts that the true culprit was brought to justice. But still, no sentence can bring our director back to us.
Sad.
She was a
Super
loyal
sad.
fan of your performances, Miss Furina. They were what first inspired her to get into musical theater. She rallied many people around her who were destitute or had lost their sense of purpose in life, and convinced them to join her troupe. She wrote her own scripts, acted on stage, and mentored each and every one of us. People loved our performances back then. We seemed to be going from strength to strength. Things were really looking up for us.
And then disaster struck.
Yeah. With all the stuff happening with the primordial waters. It's kind of crazy. I think this is a mission we're gonna have a lot of conversations about. I'm already feeling it. We're gonna be talking about this a lot.
Yeah. After that, the entire troupe fell into disarray. None of us know anything about script writing, let alone how to handle the business side of things. We've been doing the best we can, but despite our efforts, things are slowly but surely falling apart.
Right, and that can happen. Like, you take this someone who's been like the rock of everything out of there, it can really just like, yeah, fall apart.
It's agonizing, but ultimately, we'd rather end things now on our own terms than stick it out to the bitter end and watch all our dreams turn to dust.
Fair enough.
Oh.
It is so sad. It is very, very sad. Like, and again, the story of like their director as well is so sad. It's one of the unfortunate things that happened here in Fontaine.
What a terrible waste. A gifted artist from humble beginnings who achieved so much and no doubt had much more to give. And then her life was so cruelly taken.
Yeah.
I suppose it's fair to say then that this final show,
Great shot.
besides being your farewell to the stage, is also your final gift for her?
Yes, exactly. We all miss her terribly.
It's just, once again, sorry, I'm just thinking so much, guys, about this whole quest here, because I think this is going to have a big, like, it's going to relate to a lot of stuff that's happened in Fontaine already and the after effects of that. But like, yeah, this is horrible, because again, what we have here is again the primordial waters. Like, what again? Like I said at the end of the Act 5, where I was like very selfishly smiling from ear to ear, but you can't bring back those people who are gone. You know, you can't.
Well, good thing I followed the traveler here. After hearing this tragic tale, I can no longer stand by and do nothing.
Only if you're sure. Only if you are sure.
Furina.
I know what you're thinking, but I by no means plan to cross the boundary I've set for myself.
Okay.
Besides, they're no longer looking for a replacement anyway.
As long as you're aware of what your boundary is and like you're not just changing your boundary for us or for them. That's perfect.
I can, however, provide some artistic guidance from the vantage point of a highly experienced audience member.
I do think you've also judged being in the you've earned being in the audience being a judge. People have judged you for so long, you've earned it. You've earned to judge other people.
But only if you feel this is something that would help, of course.
You've earned this.
Oh, most definitely. We'll take any guidance that you can give.
We unfortunately don't have any budget for a consultant, though. Will that be a problem?
You can be in debt to her.
I don't need any compensation. All I'd ask in return, if you're willing, is that you tell me some more about the life and work of your
Interesting.
director.
She wants to learn more about someone else's life and like their journey as well. And I wonder if it is the kind of the way, like, you know, she's felt lonely for so long that hearing other people's stories might be something that brings her a bit of comfort, even if it is like, not comfort, but, you know, it might like, comfort's the wrong word. It might bring her something that's like maybe a deeper connection with her real self, maybe, where it's like she can grasp what people were going through. And even though she knew, because that's one of the main things why she was doing this for so long is like, you know, to escape that torture. But maybe she can like look on, you know, like all the stuff that's been happening in Fontaine and learn about the people behind all that stuff as well.
Something I've begun to realize since my departure from the Opera Epiclese is that there's a lot you don't see when you observe
There we go.
everything
Yeah.
from on high.
Kind of, again, she said it better than I was saying as well. Maybe just getting a better perspective on what was happening in Fontaine.
The law only judges criminal behavior and does not weigh human emotion. The court's verdict can settle the question of criminal liability, but
Like, if she wants to do the Let's Play with me,
what about
I'd be
all
saying
the
things way better.
unresolved emotions of the parties involved? What happens to them?
yeah, they come pouring out and flow away into infinity. The verdict can bring emotional catharsis.
An interesting answer. But if you ask me, I think all emotion shall ultimately return home to the heart and slowly settle with the passage of time.
That's a beautiful way of putting it. Like, all of the emotions that are felt, they all return to your heart, and then over time, they settle. They don't go away, but they settle.
Take, par exemple, how this troupe pines for their late director. Things such as this I have never witnessed before, and so I should like to observe, perchance to understand.
Still a fan of your old dramatic monologues then,
It was beautiful. It was so beautiful. And she described exactly what I was feeling about her journey, like what I thought she was feeling. Because why would she, you know, ask those type of questions? Why would she want to learn more about people's emotions?
You just want to get back in on the action, don't you?
I don't know.
No. This is a completely different situation. Pearls before swine.
And even if she does, if Furina does want to get back to acting, I want to say this now as well. If she does want to get back to acting, and this is her way into acting, and this is a way of like basically like having a healthy relationship with acting, of the side that she did enjoy, then that's perfect. If that's a way she can get back into the healthy side of performance, I'm all for it. But I just want to make sure she's okay.
The name's not Swine, it's Paimon!
Oh no. I didn't realize you were calling Paimon Swine. Paimon is definitely not Swine. She's definitely not Swine.
Would you be willing to join me? Come on, take a break from adventuring to listen to a story.
Since it's you, I'll do it.
Thank you all so much. Our director was a huge fan of Miss Furina's performances, as of course we all are. All right, follow me. We'll go to our usual practice space. Please excuse the size. It's a little on the smaller side.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's what I'll say. If this is something that she genuinely like is like, okay, this is a way I can get back into this, because like there could be emotions with Furina where she's feeling like that, like maybe I'm like I don't want to get back into acting because of those feelings, right? And that's more than normal, more than like honest, and more than understandable. But if there's also a side of it that's like, well, I love that side of the performance. I just don't want to trick people into believing I'm this in every aspect of life. But maybe in some parts I want to like do, I loved kind of some aspects of performance, and that's okay too. But again, it's always how she feels and how she wants things to go down. Because at the end of the day, like I said, Furina's trauma is more important to me, and her feelings are more important to me than a troupe that I just met. And that may sound kind of harsh to the troupe, but it's the case. And again, like Furina said, it's about like, you know, maybe understanding the maybe she has to come to terms with the idea that like she didn't really see people's real emotions either. People weren't seeing her for who she really was, and on high, no one ever treats you like a regular person either, so you never get to see their true emotions either. Even when she was talking to people in those chairs and they were begging her for help with stuff, can you help me with this, can you help me with that, they were still going, oh mighty Archon, oh beautiful Archon, oh lovely Archon, oh this and that, which again is, Jesus, look at that light, which again is not, you know, a real thing, you know, it's definitely not a real thing. It doesn't feel real. Let's go. Oh wow, it is like a very small scale acting place. Where's the backstage?
Huh? Lady Furina?
Oh my god.
What's Lady Furina doing here?
It's just Furina now.
Allow me to explain. As of today, Lady Miss
Isn't that what
Furina
Nervaletta
will be
would call
our production
her?
of the Little Oceanid in the role of artistic consultant. These two over here are the ones that made it possible. They kindly reached out to Miss Furina on our behalf. I'm sure they need no introduction.
Yes, but Furina is very powerful for even being here. She's very strong, and I can't believe she's even doing this.
You bet! That was the trial of the century!
You helped bring our director's murderer to justice. We can't thank you enough.
Yep. I don't... I'm very happy for what happened with Navi. I know it sounds so harsh this episode, guys, but like, it just... Act 5 is still so fresh in my mind. And like a lot of the things as well, it's where it's... And like, not just Act 5, but like Chapter 2 as well, which is what they're talking about here as well. Like, while it's like I'm so glad for you, that's why I'm so glad for you as well. It's just like, it was a horrible time for everyone, and I understand why you're so happy. So I hope I don't sound harsh with these people either. I'm not trying to come off as harsh.
Oh, please don't mention it. We're just here to join in on the fun.
Yeah, we're not here to be praised either.
So, you were saying the Little Oceanid? Yeah, that's the name of our final show. It's an unfinished script left behind by our director. One of our greatest regrets is that she never got to complete it. So, if we can bring it to the stage and make it a successful show, we can all take some solace in that.
It's a beautiful sentiment. It's an absolutely gorgeous sentiment from these guys.
Wait, but if it's not finished, then...
Finding an actress was the least of your problems. And I want to say as well, I was like, oh, Furina's trauma is more important. It is, like, just honestly, it is more important, right? But obviously I didn't want to like downplay like why they're doing this, because it is a beautiful thing. It's a totally beautiful thing. But obviously like you understand where I'm coming from. And I really shouldn't even have to explain that, really. Finding an actress was the least of your problems.
Yeah. We've been battling issues on every front, trying to realize this dream. Anyway, let me give you a quick summary of what the story's all about.
Sure.
The protagonist of the story is a young Oceanid who transforms herself into human form, despite the protests of her family. She longed to live just like any other human. And sure enough, she found friendship and even love. Everything seemed perfect. But one day, her true identity was exposed, and her world came crashing down around her.
Bit close to home.
So far, so good. A classic tale. What happened after that?
That's one of the issues we've been trying to deal with. Unfortunately, this was as far as the director got with her script. We need a proper ending so we can bring this musical to the stage. But people have different opinions on which direction to take it in.
We still haven't decided between a happy ending or a true-to-life tragedy.
Well, just do a happy ending, bro. Come on. Let's do a happy ending. We all need a happy ending. Come on.
By true to life, you mean the director's sudden disappearance?
Yeah, like they say, truth is stranger than fiction. But then there's the question of whether we really want to use the stage to pass our raw pain onto the audience.
It's an interesting point, right? Because that's like what sometimes like performances can be. Like it's real emotion that's injected into a character that's not real, you know?
Exactly. A lot of the time, people come to watch a show just hoping for some light entertainment. We have to consider their emotional stake in this, not just our own.
Yeah, that's very, very, very smart.
And one last thing. We're still waiting on confirmation from two of our main actors. The first is Paulo, who plays the protagonist's lover. He's locked himself away to focus on writing an ending for the script. But the deadline's passed, and we still haven't heard from him.
I wonder if it's writer's block.
The other is Villemont, who plays the main antagonist. He took the director's death
Jesus.
pretty hard. Hasn't set foot in the city
That's
since.
rough.
He did write to us, promising that he'll be there for the final performance, but we haven't seen or heard from him since. So we're not really sure what to make of that.
Huh. Although, now that we have Miss Furina helping us, maybe we should take the opportunity to get everyone back
So like
together.
the name would definitely bring people in, you know, if you hear Furina's here.
What opportunity? What do you mean?
Maybe you're unaware, but your name has always been like a rallying cry
Wait,
for
what?
us.
Our director was constantly singing your
Oh
praises.
my god.
All of us look up to you as a role model.
Oh, stop. You're making me all flustered. Although, not in a bad way.
Okay, if this is a genuine feeling from her and she's not just putting back on the performance, I'm so happy that she feels that there's people who did appreciate her quite a bit, you know?
I suspect the reason they're dragging
get what I'm
their
saying?
feet is that they have their doubts about whether the show will really go ahead, considering all the issues you've been facing.
Yeah.
But one by one, all the obstacles are being removed. Now is the time to rally the troops.
Makes sense. Okay, priority number 1, let's check in with Paulo and see where he's at with the ending. He went back to Poisson a few days ago. Said that staying in a friend's home might help him to relax and escape the feeling of isolation.
Fair enough, okay.
I thought the last thing his friend would want right now would be to take visitors, given that Poisson was flooded not too long ago. But I guess it's the opposite. A friend in need and all that.
Yeah, like again, this is a lot, and everyone in Fontaine's been through a lot, and everyone, again, losing friends and losing family. We saw like what was happening with the, like again, we talked about it in chapter 2, how devastating that was for everyone who lost their. Again, you're talking about people who lost their loved ones. You're talking about people who like literally there was women who had lives ahead of them. They were like we see here as well. They had so much ahead of them.
Yeah, maybe you could use some company.
Poisson.
Is something wrong? It's where she hid. It's where she was tricked.
Nothing. I suppose my presence will be indispensable if we are to restore his faith in the show. So allons-y. To Poisson!
Poisson was the last place in Fontaine that Furina had any, like, how do I say it? It was the last place before she went to trial in Fontaine, before she had to go to that final trial in Fontaine, that she was like, kind of like, I guess she was very upset there. She was very sad she hid out there, but even there, she was still tricked there. It's a very ordinary place, right, Poisson? It's a very, like, interesting place. And I wonder now, does she even feel like she doesn't belong here as well? Regardless, like, it's so difficult for her. Like, look at, again, even I am looking at this place and I think of the memories. I think of, like, the Navia stuff. I think of, like, what happened with everyone here who died. I think about the families that were lost. And from Furina's perspective as well, it's like she was getting so much crap from people. Remember, they were chasing her, being like, hey, do something about it, you know? And like also like in the house that was up there as well, that's where she was tricked. Like, this is a lot of memories. Like, this place is probably a lot of freaking memories for her, which is probably why in a lot of ways she just stays home and eats macaroni and stuff like this, is because she probably doesn't want to have to even like look at places like this anymore. Where are we going here? Yeah. Like, this is, I have a fiery feeling in my stomach right now. I have a real fiery feeling in my stomach. And I just don't want her to be upset at all.
If I remember correctly, this is where he's staying.
Who is it?
It's me. Is the script ready?
You came all the way here for that?
See, he's thinking, okay, this isn't even going ahead, so why should I care?
All right, forget that for now. Just come on out. We've got some great news.
Nice try. Look, just give me some time, okay? I'm just wrapping up this last part
wow.
of the script. I'll be out once I'm done.
So he's containing himself in there as well.
Okay then. Looking forward to your masterpiece.
expected, he's missed the deadline.
Yeah. It seems so.
The ending is one of the most important parts of the show. Even once he's done, it isn't final until we've all had the chance to read through and make sure we agree on it.
Yeah, because this is your final show altogether.
Someone told me they'd just seen you in Croissant. I assumed it was a case of mistaken identity, but sure enough, here you are. And Furina, too.
My absolute gal. We love her so much. How are you doing? I didn't expect to see her today.
I was wondering if we might run into her.
Oh, she was thinking of Navia's. She was thinking of Navia now as well.
So you're here for Palo? Looks like he could be a while, so feel free to take a stroll around town
Yeah?
in the meantime. I've made all the arrangements already.
My sweetheart of the stars. I love you so much. My best friend who ever lived.
Oh, it's okay. We can just wait here.
Thank you for being so considerate, Miss Navia. That sounds wonderful. We'll take that stroll.
Let's go. Let's go.
Get over here, you! How oblivious are
Yeah,
you?
yeah. It's like I love that she realized that. Oh, the look! Oh my
How are
God!
things in Poisson now? Any better?
Did you see that animation?
Things are on the mend, but it's a slow process. Some people may never recover from the trauma they
Oh,
experience.
yes. It was so difficult. Like again, Navi, I don't even know how you're gonna recover from all this. You know what I mean? Like that's why I said I was so selfish. I felt so selfish that I was smiling from ear to ear at the end of Act 5 when I knew that afterwards people have lost their lives, people drowned. There's people who are still gonna have trauma.
I'm sorry to hear that. I wish there was something I could
They have
do.
turned this character of Furina, who we met first, who we always knew had an underlying sadness to her, right? But the sadness is just like on the surface now, and you can see it in her face.
Please, must our conversations take such a depressing turn every time we
Oh my
meet?
God, Navia, I'm gonna cry.
We all have painful memories, but we don't have to let them cloud everything we do.
Oh my God.
And if you're trying to make a new start, perhaps it's best if you don't bring up the past all the
Oh,
time.
sweetheart, you absolute sweetheart. Obviously, if she wants to talk about it, she definitely can. That's why I see it, but I think Navi is definitely trying to help here as well.
Thank you for your words of comfort. You make a very good point. But for now, at least, I think I should stay with the way I'm feeling
Okay.
for a while longer.
So she wants to stay in these feelings for a bit, like, maybe like she wants to not even wallow, maybe she wants to, like, you know, work through those feelings before she like tries to dissipate them.
It's okay.
Yeah.
These things take time. Moving on from a painful experience is easier said than
110, 110%.
done. Which brings me to why I'm here. I thought you should probably know that not everyone here is ready to forgive and forget after the Hydro Archon's inaction in the face of catastrophe.
Right. Right. It was still a big situation that was exacerbated by a lot of people in our little ruse that we were making, right? They kind of started the discontent even higher, you know?
To avoid upsetting the peace, I told the townspeople that everyone here is a member of the theater troupe,
Oh,
and that you are
Jesus.
just an actress playing the role of Furina.
Oh, no.
It's not a perfect solution, but hopefully it means you won't have to lie low while you're here.
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from, Navia. It's just very sad.
That's so thoughtful of you, Navia.
Well, what do you expect? I am the courageous and considerate president of Spina di Rosula, after all. Like my father before me.
You could say 300 more positive things about yourself and I would agree with all of them and co-sign my life to them.
Anyway, that was all. Look after her now.
Thank you so much, Navia. Got her, Navia. No, she's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. The MVP of Fontaine, Navia.
Let's take a
The
look
absolute
up there.
MVP.
I don't have any friends that I can be frank and honest with, so maybe she's right. You're the closest thing to friends that I
Anything.
have.
Anything you want. And if you take Navia's words to heart, these some of the best, like honestly, if you're going to take anyone's words to heart, Navi is the best one you can take to heart. A sweetheart from the stars. Not meant to even be in this world how sweet she is. They made a mistake, you know? They broke the mold. She came from the planet that was shaped like a heart. And they didn't want her even down here because the world was not pure enough for her. And when she came down here, she helped everybody. She wasn't meant to be here. We love her. See, like, it's so weird.
I'm so grateful that Miss Navia was so understanding. To be perfectly honest, I didn't know if I was ready to meet her.
110%. So understandable. So understandable, Furina.
It's always easiest to just run away from your problems. But that never fixes anything. You can't get around the obstacles without facing them.
True. And as Navia said, take your time. Take your time.
So that's why you were nervous when they brought up Poisson.
Yeah. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared of coming back here. Still, I felt it was something I had to do. As I was saying before, I want to see for myself the things that I never could in the past.
Yeah, different perspective. A whole different perspective.
I'd be overjoyed if the people here could find it in their hearts to forgive me. But they're more likely to unleash a tirade of vitriol against me. Which, of course, I completely understand and accept.
Yeah, and again, I'm almost on the verge of tears sometimes every time she speaks. I don't know what it is. Well, I know what it is. But, like, very, like, appropriate response here from Navia. Not from Furina, where it's just saying that, like, she totally understands that, like, you know, she was in a position of high power. But here's the thing as well. If they knew the full story about Furina, right? Furina was a human who had to pretend to be an Archon. She wasn't someone who could, like, honestly, like, you know what I mean? Like, she wasn't a Zhongli. She wasn't a Zhongli. She wasn't a Venti. She wasn't an Ai. She wasn't a Nahida, who all had their own individual problems. Let's be honest here. They all had their own individual strifes and things they had to go through, 110%. But she didn't have that power. They don't know this, I'm guessing. I'm pretty sure the full story wasn't told to them, like, oh, whatever. Well, actually, no, they would have to know that there's no longer an Archon, right? For sure, yeah, they know about that she's no longer an Archon, but maybe they still see it as, like, they're still bitter about it, because they've lost a lot of people, which would make sense as well. I'm sure some people didn't buy Navia's lie. Yeah, that would make sense as well, because, like, you know, you would be kind of like, because again, bitterness grows, you know, when people are all around. I mentioned Monster recently as well, you know, but there is that kind of thing where, like, you know, Johann Liebert said it, and Johann Liebert, by the way, don't take his words for true. He's an absolute, like, crazy evil person. But one thing he said is, like, that, you know, usually anger gathers, anger grows when people gather together. When people who are angry gather together angry, and then anger grows and grows and grows and grows. And while it's not as serious as it was in Monster, but, like, it's much harder for these people to like accept that, like, Furina might not have been able to do anything, or had problems with being able to do something, right? It's, even though she was trying her best, it's much harder for them to accept that and move on, not because they lost a lot of people, and also because they're constantly around the same people who've also lost other people. So as soon as you get a different perspective, you know, you have, like, say if someone goes, well, look, we lost a lot of people, but, like, it seems like Furina, like, lost a lot of things too. That's so hard for someone to say, first of all, for someone to step up and say that, but then you're still gonna have 10 people that are gonna be like, understandably so, we lost our brothers, we lost our sisters, we lost our loved ones, we lost so many people. So it's really difficult to get that, especially when people are gathered in a group as well. I'm sure people didn't buy Navia's lie.
Yeah, I can tell.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We won't let anything happen to you.
I'm sure some people here see the idea of someone coming to Poisson dressed as the Hydro Archon as extremely disrespectful.
So interesting, like this is how they feel about the Archon afterwards, right?
I used to be terrified of the gaze of other people, especially when they had suspicion or resentment in their eyes. I guess I wasn't quite ready for this.
And that's totally okay. This isn't a step, this is a leap.
I'm not surprised you're making yourself go through all of this.
Maybe you've taken on a bit too much in one go. Yeah, it's possible.
I can't let myself see only the things I want to see. How would that make me any different from before?
Yeah, but as Navia said, take your time. Take your time.
Look, there seems to be a crowd gathering.
I will not let anything happen to you. There's not staying quiet either. I will not let anything happen to you, Furina.
Probably time we made a move.
Yeah, but just, you know, I will not let anything happen to you.
How about we check out Spina di Rosula's ship? We should have a view of the whole of Poisson from
there. Sure, we can do that. We can do that. Yeah, like, I've explained kind of like how I feel about that in the midst of that whole conversation there. It's totally understandable that people are upset that they, we sometimes when you're playing a game or when you're looking at a story, it's hard to really look at things from the perspective of people that are not your favorite characters or that are not characters who you love dearly and are not named characters in terms of like the ones who have a vision, you know? We're probably more likely to have, if Hu Tao showed up in a story, we're probably more likely to sympathize with Hu Tao most sometimes than we are with the plights of some other people. But I think what's really nice about my audience and what we're able to do, and I love doing with you guys, is that we're able to discuss all of this NPC or no NPC. Everyone gets treated very fairly, and I think it's always a good way of looking at it. It's still very difficult. It's very difficult to do so. It's very pretty over here, isn't it, Hu Tao? Okay, let's set up here then. Through this whole mission though, I really feel like I haven't been able to feel comfortable. There's a lot of inward sighing and a feeling of fire in my stomach. There's a lot of hand, holding up my head for a lot of times too. There's a bit of quiet moments as well. I hope you guys understand that. It's still a very tough situation. It is. It's very tough. But we still have Hu Tao. Wah. Look at that. Wah. Deal with this. Wah. That's all I'm saying. I've leveled the hell out of Hu Tao as well.
I'm sorry. You probably just wanted a relaxing stroll.
No.
And here I am dumping all this heavy stuff on you.
Dump it all. Dump it all. And it's not even a dumping. It's usually just saying exactly how you feel and we want to help.
We don't mind. It's actually refreshing to see a different side of you.
Yeah, and honestly, this is what you need. We'll help out.
Great.
Are we sitting down with Furina? Are you serious?
Your company, so please don't disappear just yet.
If you need me to stay here for years, I will stay here. We're sitting down on the side of this for Furina. This is the sweetest thing in the frickin' world.
I don't know.
This is the sweetest thing in the frickin' world.
But the years of suffering and loneliness aren't the only reason I have a hard time facing up to who I used to be.
Okay. I'm sorry, but this is such a beautiful scene.
As I stand here by the ship, I can't get the images of the rising water out of my brain.
Yeah, of course.
One after another, people were taken by the water.
Yeah.
All those treasured lives and memories washed out of existence in an instant. They thought their god would protect them. They had absolute faith that when disaster struck, a divine power would save them from harm.
And it's very interesting that the divine power was you never had it, first of all. But in the end, it was kind of a divine power, a sovereign power that kind of saved everybody in the end.
And all the while, I played my part to perfection to convince them that was true.
And I can totally get why that would feel horrible for Furina right at that point. And why, again, she's feeling as if for this whole time, she tricked people into believing there was not only hope, but that they had an Archon that would support them in every single moment.
But then the floodwaters finally came, and the Hydro Archon did nothing.
You did it to protect them, though. This sacrifice was to protect them. In the end, it's what protected them. Again, the horrible thing you went through should never have happened in the first place. I just want to make that perfectly clear, and I'll stand by that. That should never have happened in the first place, what Furina had to go through. But that was a sacrifice like no other, Furina.
You shouldn't look at it like that. You were only doing your duty.
Yeah, you literally saved, in the end, if you didn't, you saved everyone's life in the end. You prevented the prophecy because you did that. Again, I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. Should never have happened in the first place. No one should have to go through that. Don't be so harsh on yourself.
I had to go through so many moments like that for the sake of protecting the truth.
Her voice.
As time went on, it got harder and harder to bear. And I became more lonely and isolated.
Yeah. I still have the image of you crying at home in your bedroom by yourself. It will never leave my mind. It's seared into my brain forever.
Eventually, I realized I had nothing left except the truth. I became terrified of completely failing in my task and was haunted by the thought of being left all alone, weeping
dear
on
Lord.
my throne.
And as well as the idea that she was already alone weeping on her throne. Figuratively. And she was so terrified of the fact that it would literally happen.
Fortunately, we were able to avoid the worst case scenario thanks to the help of heroic individuals such as yourselves.
I'm gonna say something. Yes, we took down the narwhal. Yes, we did. Or we helped take down the narwhal. Skirk came along and, like, you know, played Mommy Dearest the best way she could, right? She went mom mode. But the thing is, I will say to, like I said, till I'm blue in the face, that 500 years is more than I would ever be able to go through.
Everyone rose to their responsibilities, and I finally regained my freedom.
Yeah.
But on some level, freedom also means no longer being needed.
Yeah, that's what she's feeling.
I have no further use to people.
And maybe that's why she's feeling she wants to help these people in the troupe, because she's like, I feel like I'm needed here. Which is horrible to think about.
Paimon would have never imagined you'd see it that way.
You think of your freedom as a reward. It's hard to think of, like, going through suffering and getting a reward at the end, right? Because it's difficult to think of it that way.
Reward?
Because now you can finally speak your heart. You don't have to be anguished and alone anymore. You can always come to us. If you want to become our third party member, we've been trying to get people to join this whole freaking time. You can join.
I guess so. And back then, I didn't even dare to dream about having someone to confide in.
And that moment, yes, that moment when she was in the freaking shed with us, like, she almost did confide in us, because in her head she was like, finally. Holy hell.
I was scared of someone recognizing me for who I truly was, and exposing the secret I swore to protect. Believe in the Furina you see on stage. She is the one you can trust.
Oh my god, this is breaking my heart all over again. I'm already, like, you know, feeling so emotional at the start of this, you know?
I had to keep all my feelings, all my curiosity about life to myself. No one could be allowed to know.
Again, because she had to be all-knowing. She had to be like this god. She couldn't, like, imagine not being able to, like, do something simple, like ask someone how they make a certain dish. And that's why the whole macaroni thing is so interesting to me. She couldn't even go up to, like, a street vendor and be like, oh, what way do you, like, make this freaking food that you make? She couldn't do that because she's all-knowing. She's a god.
That's what I really meant when I said I'm no good at maintaining relationships.
Well, until you feel like you are, I'll maintain whatever relationship you want, even if it's one-sided and you need time to work through this. I don't care. I will stay here.
So that's where you were coming from. Paimon totally thought you were just a bit of a diva at heart.
I personally didn't think that. To be honest.
Could you please get off my case? I don't know what's gotten into you today. I'm making an effort here. You could at least try to do the same.
You are. You're making a very big effort, and I appreciate it so much. Do you feel better having gotten this all off your chest?
I do. I once had nothing but the truth, and now I'm finally free to live my own life again. And even though I have no idea where I'm going right now,
yeah,
at least the choice is in my hands.
Frick, dude. All these emotions, like, they're carrying over because obviously, like, I went into this, like, whole chapter feeling still, like, you know, like, I'm not, like, still thinking about Furina. So doing her story quest, obviously, like, you have heightened emotions already. The dam has burst already. Holy hell, just seeing her say the choice is in my hands.
All right. It's about time to head back. Paulo should have finished the ending by now.
Sure. Okay, let's head back and check it out.
Yeah. Oh man. Like, I'm just thinking about such a simple thing, you know? Like, a simple pleasure. Like, now she's making macaroni and pasta, right? And sauce. And she's making macaroni and bolognese, right? Which are very easy things to make. They are easy things to make. Through her whole time, she couldn't be curious about things. She couldn't satiate her natural curiosity for the world. When we don't know something in everyday life, we ask a question, right? And confusion leads to an expansion of knowledge. Confusion means you're thinking. Confusion means at least in some stage you'll be able to stop being confused and come out the other side a lot smarter. That's the way I look at confusion all the time. For her, she wasn't able to even expand her feelings in that way, like even the smallest ways. And like, again, we talk about the biggest ways and they're so important too, but you know, I love talking about the small things that add up to a lot of big things as well. She wasn't even able to, like, Like to have conversation. Imagine not being able to spending 500 years not being able to have a normal conversation with someone. Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Didn't you say you needed to watch what you eat? You're supposed to be cutting down on fried foods, not wolfing down copious quantities of fish and chips.
Well, Dolphy,
you know?
fish and chips is freaking sick. It's awesome.
Come on. It's not every day we get to dine at Spina di Rosula's expense. Can you believe how generous she is? I'm not about to pass on free food.
Yeah, you shouldn't turn down Navia's gifts. No, fish and chips is so freaking good. And you can imagine it from Poisson. I imagine it's freaking incredible.
Anyway, my character doesn't need to be slim and good looking. That's your job.
The way I look at that is like you don't have to put pressure on her either for looking good for her job. And she shouldn't put pressure on you for eating fish and chips, you know?
Are you kidding me right now? It's not your character's health I'm worried about, it's yours. I've spent my whole life battling the effects of ill health, and it kills me to watch you willingly ruin yours by filling yourself up with junk all the time.
Oh no, looks like they're arguing again.
Yeah. Paimon's voice actor is fantastic. I will say it all the time. I love it.
Maybe put your differences aside for a moment?
You're back. We've been enjoying Spina di Rosula's VIP treatment in your stead.
Can you imagine fish and chips from the Spina di Rosula, which, by the way, Chef Rosalci eats a lot of in her idol animations.
Paulo's nearly done. We shouldn't have to wait too much longer.
Great! So you were discussing your characters, right? We heard she's playing the Oceanid who turns into a human girl. What about you?
Me? I'm an Oceanid too.
He was originally supposed to take the form of a crane, but he outgrew that role.
Ah, Jesus.
Well, the costume at least. So now he's playing the boar instead.
Dude, fish and chips are awesome. We'll go for fish and chips someday as well.
Sorry.
The boar's not a bad character, actually. He's the one who raises the little Oceanid, yes?
Look at Furina. Look at Furina.
That's right. He has some pretty memorable lines too. Like when he imparts some solemn words of wisdom to the little Oceanid.
Man, I love fish and chips. I'm sorry, I need to move on from this now because I love fish and chips. It's so good. It's so freaking good.
If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness.
Jesus.
Is this truly what you want?
This is so, like, close to home.
That sounds kind of
It's so close to home. Jesus, guys.
It's the most important line in the whole script. I think it's a symbolic statement about our director's life and legacy. She kept quiet about all the trials and tribulations she faced in running our troupe, allowing us to devote ourselves fully to performing.
Right. Just as Furina also kept quiet about her trials and tribulations.
It was only after she was gone that we realized how tough her job really was.
Only after Furina stopped being an Archon, we really, again, the relation to this is actually very fantastic. Right? It does feel like Furina could relate to this person quite a bit. It's only until after she stopped being the Archon, everyone realized how difficult this actually was.
You mentioned earlier that the troupe is like your home.
Yeah. I was born with an incurable illness, and once my family found out it couldn't be treated, they decided they didn't want me anymore.
Let me frickin' see them. Dirt. Absolute dirt.
I spent some years taking whatever work
dirt.
I could find
Oh my God.
and trying to manage my illness with various medicines. But whenever I had a bad flare-up, I'd be lying in an alleyway for days at a time.
No, frickin' disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. There's a lot of pretty bad people in Fontaine, I guess.
It was like that until the director found me one day. She told me I had a great voice and asked if I was interested in studying singing from her. I said yes.
And so she probably it's kind of like a surrogate mother. No, your family's dirt. Your family for giving you up there is dirt. Dirt.
She took me under her wing, taught me to both sing and act, helped me find Mora for my meds, took care of me when my condition decided to flare up. I know it was all a huge burden on her.
She sounds like a really incredible person.
She
She
really
does.
was.
She really does.
She gave everything she had to her troupe and the people in it. All of us were so proud to call her our director. I was a lost child too when she found me. As the child of a murderer, my parents weren't around when I was little, so I got sent to an orphanage.
A lot of stuff here happening with their childhood as well, right?
The other kids were always picking fights with me. They'd say things like, "Come on, you must be pretty tough if you're the son of
Jesus.
a murderer." It was just to taunt me, though. I was an easy target, and they knew it.
Yeah. It's cruel. It's so cruel. And it seems like this troupe has found like a lot of people who are like a little bit of outcasts, you know? Some people who had like a rougher childhood and came together onto this family. I can kind of understand why they probably feel like each other are family now.
One day, I got beaten up so bad that I just couldn't take it anymore. So I ran away. I lost all faith in humanity by that point. Thought the whole world was out to get me.
Show me who they are as adults now. I swear to God.
The day you hoped would never come. How times change.
Oh, and he came out of the... Is he finished?
Oh, you're finally done? Get your butt over here. There's someone I need to introduce you to. This is our new artistic consultant, Miss Furina.
Probably gonna be shocking.
Furina? The Furina?
Yeah.
Oh my god, how did you manage to wrangle that?
Please, the honor is all mine. I was profoundly moved to hear about your troupe and your wonderful director. I just wanted to do something to help.
But like this must be a crazy moment for them.
Even so, this is just... Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'll try to calm down. Now, where was I? Ah, yes, the script, of course. Let me give you a rundown of how the story unfolds in my version of
Now
the
he's
script.
so enthusiastic about it, you know?
I'm sure you're already familiar with the beginning of the story. A little Oceanid decides she wants to become a human against the wishes of her family. She finds love and friendship in the bustling city. But then, disaster strikes.
Beautiful artwork, isn't it? Really gorgeous
People
artwork.
start to notice that all the fresh water in the surrounding area is slowly disappearing. The soil is becoming arid. Plants and flowers are withering. And the people begin to panic.
Yeah, it's really beautiful artwork. Really pretty.
Little Oceanid, Cleo, and her lover decide to do something about it and investigate the truth of the matter together. In the end, they discover that all the waste and pollution created by humans over the years has caused the fresh water to flee the land, as if driven by a consciousness of its own.
Consciousness? You mean the water is sentient?
It's honestly like, I don't know, that idea is kind of sick. Like, you know, like the idea of the, like, and again, it's not too far off from like what we've seen in the world so far. It's like the idea of the water being an actual living, breathing thing.
Water as a conscious entity. There's actually quite a few stories that explore this theme.
It's super interesting to me. It's super interesting.
Since the little Oceanid is a water spirit, she immediately understands how the water is feeling. She then tells her lover about her true identity, as well as the truth behind the crisis.
I think that's actually super, super interesting. Again, just the idea of the water as an
Her lover
entity.
accepts her for who she is, and works with her to find a way to bring the water back. However, unbeknownst to them, there were some people eavesdropping when she revealed her secret.
Wow, so what do people
The
know?
little Oceanid is accused of being directly responsible for driving the water away, and faces the greatest dilemma of her life.
Yeah, a lot of this story, even though it's not directly related and not directly describing Furina's story, there is like, you know, a lot of like, you know, with her getting chased by the mob as well.
And then
In the end, she makes the brave decision to sacrifice herself to save her lover and the rest of humanity.
I suppose there goes our idea of a happy ending.
Huh? But didn't they all treat Cleo like a villain? Why would she want to save them after that?
Well, she mainly wanted to save her lover, plus everyone who'd stood up for her.
through her love for her human partner, she was able to find an even greater love, one that extended to all of humanity. Surely the biggest strength of Cleo's character.
There's actually something else that bothers me. You know the protagonist is supposed to represent the director, right? And she never had the chance to become a hero in our world.
So you're trying to, again, but like also like again with the relation to Furina's story. I know it's like the relating to their director, but the relation to Furina's story is like, again, how like in the end, Like, it was her sacrifice that she made for all these people for all these years, but it'll never be known as that, you know?
If we're serious about
least
dedicating the
not
show
right
to
now.
her memory, we should make the ending as true to life as possible.
It doesn't have to be. Sometimes I feel like you can fulfill, you know, her dream through the story.
What about if the little Oceanid is hounded to death by people who hate her, her lover makes sure her secret never gets out, and humanity continues down the path to extinction?
That sounds like too cruel of an ending to me. And perhaps a little irresponsible to present to the audience.
Yeah. It is a very, very, very cruel ending. And especially nowadays, I think that, like, uplifting people is definitely where you want to go. I understand, again, it's their director.
That ending would be a perfect mirror to Director Aureli's death. Both arbitrary and meaningless. On the day when she went missing, Director Aureli had instructed us all, somewhat out of the blue, to leave the court of Fontaine and wait for her outside the city.
Right.
We waited and waited at the rendezvous point, but she never came. By the time we returned to the city, she disappeared without a trace.
And especially since you were expecting
We
her,
looked
and then
for
she's
her.
just gone.
The Gardamex looked for her, but she was nowhere to be found. Increasingly, all the signs seemed to point to her being the latest victim in the serial disappearances case.
How do you even... They haven't come to terms with it. I was going to say, how can you come to terms with it? You can't.
The director was the kindest soul in the world. Yet she was senselessly sacrificed for the sake of a so-called experiment by someone who had nothing to do with her at all.
We can say for what it was. Like, it was, yeah, you say so-called experiment. You're very good at describing that. For what it was a selfish... what he thought at the time was, like, could have been murder. You know what I mean? He was committing mass murder in his mind. He knew, because he didn't know where they were going.
But doesn't the way she suddenly told you to leave the city suggest that maybe she had some sense of what was about to happen? It almost seems as if she was moving you to safety.
Yeah, like she had an idea. Yes, if she had almost like a warning. So when she went off and did what she needed to do, whatever it was.
I've been trying to follow up on that ever since, but all my efforts so far have turned up nothing. Villemont might know something, but he won't open up to me.
Villemont? The one who's playing the role of the villain?
Yeah. He's been overwhelmed by grief. I think the director's death hit him hardest of all.
Grief? Guilt, more like. Also, I have a hard time imagining that anyone took it harder than me.
So he's seeing his idea of guilt? Was he supposed to do something for her?
Because, well, speaking of the play being true to life, I was deeply, madly in love with Aureli.
And that's why you locked yourself away?
What? You kept that one quiet.
And this idea, and in the story, if he, you know, it's like, if he's playing the love interest, you also have this story where, like, the director is, like, professing their love and, like, for him.
It's time to be upfront with you all. No more keeping secrets from each other. We'll never be able to agree on the ending if we can't be honest about how we feel. I did tell her how I felt once, but she turned me down pretty much straight away.
There you go.
She said that we were all like brothers and sisters to her, and she never considered us as potential romantic partners.
It's very clear that she, like, was, you know, she felt as though she was taking care of all of you as well.
Not that
or at least, like, giving you a life that you could
anything.
live.
It was what I was expecting to hear. So I told her I'd always be there for the troupe, and I'd always be there for her.
Yeah.
I said,
Very fair.
maybe
Very
one
fair.
day in the future, when everyone's settled into their own lives and on the up and up, and managing the troupe no longer required her constant attention.
This is beautiful, by the way. It's gorgeous.
Well, maybe then she could reconsider what she really wanted in her life.
It sounded very one-sided, but
No.
I'm not sure.
That day will never
But
come.
no matter what, even if it was one-sided, like, he is also feeling this loss of, like, any possibility of that happening.
Paulo.
You know, which is really difficult.
So if I'm the one writing this ending, then I'm gonna make sure it does right by Aureli. I won't let anyone get in the way of that.
Does it also feel like maybe you're writing it for yourself to get some solace too, which is okay. Like, I'm not going to badmouth you for that, but...
In that case, you have to straighten things out with Villemont once and for all, face to face. We've all had our differences of opinion over the ending, but those two have never seen eye to eye on anything. One of them has to compromise if we're ever going to reach a final decision.
Yep.
Well, if that's where we're at, looks like it's time to go visit Vilmo.
Are you ready to face the truth?
What a line from Furina as well, especially coming from her story, right?
Honestly, I'm slightly terrified. But for the sake of our final performance, I'll do whatever it takes. Funny you should ask, though. You really do get what I'm going through right now.
I certainly do.
Well, Furina's whole story, her whole aspect was like keeping the truth from everybody, right? And finding ways to not look the truth in the eyes. And every time she did, obviously, like it was just like a reminder of her situation.
Come on, everyone. Allons-y.
Man, this is like it hits so close to home for Furina, which like, again, I'm not sure if this is something that like she definitely wants to go. Like again, like I have to trust her words, right, when it comes to this story, and we have to trust Furina. This isn't a situation where like I'm like again, if she told me that she wanted to stay at home and do nothing for this whole chapter, and it was 3 hours and a half of us just eating macaroni together, I'd do that too. You know, it's all taking steps towards like getting better and taking steps towards being like better. And some people never get better. Like it sometimes goes that way. But like obviously we'd help her with anything she ever needed to get or to feel better, because like it affects some people in different ways.
This is tough going. Delphi, are you sure you can manage in your condition?
I could ask you the same question. Try to keep up.
And a lot of it's like it always hits home. It's like us like as well, you know, where Furina maybe wants to face this, even though we're kind of like, hey, take a step back. Just like Dolphy wants to do this play, and everyone's like, take a step back. You know, where you know, the director has to, you know, and the cast have to face the truth. Maybe this could be helpful for her, but again, like I said, it's not. I don't feel like it's my place. Yes, we can help her and help her come to the conclusion, but I think it's also not my place to tell her that she's going about it in the wrong way right now. If it gets to the point where it's too difficult for her, like, oh my god, she knows she can talk to us now. She knows she can. Even though that would still be very difficult.
Ugh, as if this journey wasn't tough enough already without a roadblock.
Don't worry. We should all be fine with the traveler here. We don't need to take a detour. Wait, why are you all looking at me? You're not seriously expecting me to fight, are you?
We're just curious, that's all. I don't think anyone's ever seen Furina in a fight before.
Yeah, but don't you remember why? The Hydro Archon willingly gave up all her power so it could be converted into indemnitium. Miss Furina said so herself.
Yeah, exactly. And again, I guess like people do understand his position as well. And she's a bit nervous about this too.
Precisely. And I'm not even.
Oh my
the
god, she's
Hydro
again.
Archon
Whenever I
anymore,
hear that
so
laugh,
all my power is gone anyway.
Like it's just like, and again, I understand it's her nervous laugh, right? Like the you know, like again, it's her trying to like, you know, that facade is hard to drop, right? It's hard to drop because it's a protection, it's a coping mechanism.
As much as it pains me, unfortunately, I should just stay put. I'm more like a damsel in distress more than anything.
It's interesting because like it's like I find it kind of sweet that she's saying it this way as well, because again, she's looking to us like, hey, look, you know, you said I could confide in you, and it's almost like an accepting of us, like that we can back her up in this type of situation, and I will. There's no problem with that whatsoever.
That sounded so smug. Ugh, secondhand embarrassment is unbearable.
C'est la vie. Honestly, like I adore it. I do it in a way, like it's her own way of kind of like looking to us and being like, I'm a damsel in distress, like to us, like it's like her way of like still like, you know, not outwardly saying all the stuff that upsets her, while also letting us know, hey, remember we said you'd help me out? Do you want to help me out?
C'est la vie indeed.
Yeah.
Alas, I am forced to watch on helplessly as a more brave and seasoned adventurer than I swoops in to save the day.
Like this aspect of it is like, it's kind of like, again, like I think it is her kind of being like saying to us like in a very Furina way, hey, like, yeah, help me out.
Aw, too bad. I was so pumped to feast my eyes on fight mode Furina.
Ain't happening. I do think that in her own Furina way, that was a very sweet way of a confirmation that we are like, you know, going to help her out in some situations like that.
Sorry to leave all the heavy lifting to you.
Piece of cake.
So we actually have to like defeat these monsters. Yeah, no, like I think it's super interesting. Like that whole, and again, I know Paimon was a little bit annoyed by that as well, which is interesting. But then again, that's Paimon, you know. This is an interesting team, so we'll have to like again, which is not bad actually. But I do kind of like it in Furina again. Like I said, in Furina's own way, she was letting us know, hey, can you help me out? And we did say we would, and I have no problem helping her out. It's not a sign of weakness to ask for help. And I think knowing that is a very important thing too. If we can like help her not be nervous about some stuff, you okay there? I'd say like we should no, you can stop that. Well, why am I free? It's because they're also ice? No, it's very good. I know it says it isn't good because your health is low. It's very good in this situation that your health might be low. Everyone gather around.
My guiding stars. Fire, fire, pants on fire.
Fire, pants on fire. Are you serious? Yeah, the status effects, man. I say we patch out ice. What do you guys say? Would you guys be all for it? Yeah, that crit attack is really good. This attack here. The charge attack.
Witness the power of Gurwa. Bravo! Good show!
Yeah.
You certainly live up to your reputation.
Getting a bravo from Furina means the absolute world.
Yeah, thank you. Anyway, the path is cleared now, so onwards and upwards.
Yeah, and so with Barbara, what I do is this. I like then switch to Tao and she gets a little bit of healing. So it's not too crazy, you know? So it's, yeah, and so she still has her low health if she needs it too, and then we can switch back to Xing Shou. That's the way I like to do it. Yeah, like I think the whole scene was so interesting to me because like, again, while we're also like going into performance Furina mode, in this sense, it kind of served a purpose that was like, you know, keeping up like, while still keeping up like kind of like an appearance that's not going to upset. Because again, it takes time to fully admit like I am, you know, she could say, all right, like I am weaker now. I can't fight, you know, in a very dull kind of like somber tone, which would have been okay too if she wanted that. But right now, what she needed was to cope a little bit, was to call herself a damsel in distress, and we can accept that. We can totally accept that for now.
Vilma, are you there?
Huh? Oh,
This is such a beautiful quest as well, like really pretty locations.
What's Lady Furina doing here?
I can explain. We've been rounding up the whole troupe. We now have everyone except you.
Such an interesting quest to me. So interesting.
So, you think knowing the truth about the director's disappearance will help you write an ending to the script that pleases everyone? I care just as much as everyone else about making the Little Oceanid a success. That's why I wanted to wait until after the show. If I open this can of worms now...
Oh, so he does know a lot.
I just don't want to make things difficult between us. We're supposed to be a unit when we're on stage.
Right. But I'm actually pretty interested to understand what he knows.
Vilma, avoiding the truth will not help anyone.
It's so sad because, like, when you relate the idea of truth, right? Like, Furina at times would try to avoid the truth many times. Like, that was her whole life, was avoiding the truth, was like playing someone else. But like, she couldn't help that. That wasn't her choice. But like, we're hearing all this stuff like avoiding the truth won't help. But I suppose maybe they're relating more to like now maybe Furina like is trying to avoid things. But for my money and from my perspective, by the way, from my perspective, I'm just saying that like I don't think that like her setting those boundaries was a bad thing, and I don't think her setting up the idea of like a protective layer around herself for now was a bad thing either. To try to protect her from any more mental anguish.
Unless you mean to suggest that Aurelie's death had something to do with you.
I don't want to talk about it.
Jesus.
Listen, Vilma. I used to think that my love for Aurelie was a point of shame. I never brought it up to anyone. But now, I've made up my mind to put it all on the table. I'm prepared to face everything, to sacrifice everything for the sake of the show. The Little Oceanid cannot be complete unless we do justice to Aurelie on an emotional level.
This is why people think of you as not being the smart one.
Wow, okay, dude.
As you all know already, the troupe was kept afloat not from ticket sales, but donations from the audience. Of course, that was nowhere near enough. We took on side jobs when we weren't performing, but even then, the troupe's financial situation was pretty dire. So, anyway, one day after a show, a merchant came to me and offered us a huge sponsorship. In return, we just had to provide the audience with their drinks during performances.
Okay, it's not too bad.
Like a win-win. So, I said yes to it on the spot without consulting the director. It was only when the merchant came to deliver the goods that I realized the drink in question was synth.
Jesus, oh, what? That's so rough.
Isn't that the drink peddled by the culprit behind the serial disappearances case?
Yes, that is crazy. I remember that, yeah, that induces a state of euphoria, but also causes the body significant harm to the body, yeah.
I freaked out when I saw the
Of course.
boxes. And I told the director everything right away. She was completely shocked as well. But she didn't reprimand me for making the decision without consulting her. Instead, she contacted the merchant and stated that the troupe could not agree to this collaboration.
What? It sounds like she was an angel. It sounds like she was an angel.
The merchant was furious, berated us for going back on our word, and threatened to sue us for damages. The amount was astronomical. There was no way we'd be able to pay.
And then
Yeah, everyone's like on the edge of their seat here as well. Yeah, it sounds like she was an angel for not, again, like that's some dangerous stuff. That's really dangerous stuff.
I was going to sort it on my own, but the director stopped me. She said that this was an issue for the whole troupe and it wasn't my fault. But things only got worse from there. The synth merchant just wouldn't let up. And then suddenly the director told us all to leave the city one day.
What?
I knew then that things must have reached a boiling point.
So she was going to try and sort it out, but if anything went south, they wouldn't be around for
I
it.
admit this whole thing was my mistake. I didn't dare to tell any of you the truth back then, and after the director disappeared, I was even more afraid to say anything.
You brought the director to the attention of the synth dealers. Your mistake gave them a motive to kidnap him. Whoa, my God.
Yeah, I got Aurelie killed.
Holy...
There, I said it. Happy now?
Imagine even have to think about this. Like, what the hell? Like, he didn't know about the deal, but that's like, that would kill me forever, like.
Hey, don't say that.
He didn't know about the synth deal, but like.
Traitor! You knew Aurelie was in danger. Why in God's name didn't you tell us? What do you mean you were afraid? This was a life and death situation.
No, everyone's
we could
hurt.
have saved her.
This is a situation where everybody is hurt, and yes, there's so many what ifs and what could we have done.
How could you be so stupid?
Holy hell, this is such a tense situation.
Please, try not to get too worked up.
Yeah, listen to him. You need to stay calm.
I think this is such a horrible situation, especially like you opening up all the wounds that like you were trying to close with this play.
Stay calm? How can I stay calm? This guy got Aurelie murdered. She was the love of my life.
I'm pretty sure he cared about her a lot too. This is probably like killing him.
And he has the gall to try and high-road us, claiming that he kept his mouth shut for the sake of the show. How about taking some responsibility for what he's done?
Like, you can understand where Paolo's coming from as well.
All I can say is I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can understand.
Truly. I wanted to apologize to everyone in the troupe, but that won't bring back the director. What good is my apology now?
Like, again, like, he didn't know that it was synth, but obviously, like, you know, from the other people's perspective, all they're seeing is, like, you know, the follow-up to all this and how, like, the director got involved in all this and how she had to get involved in this because he went behind their back to make a deal.
I'm just a coward who made an awful, terrible mistake that I can never take back. Beat me up if you want. Kill me if you prefer.
Jesus
it's what I
Christ.
deserve.
This whole thing is just full of so many hurt people. Like, emotionally, a lot of these people are drained in this troupe.
In my life. So I can meet the director and apologize to her in person.
Oh my God. Imagine even getting to this point in your mind.
Get out of my sight. Go, get lost. I don't ever want to see your face again.
Is that what the rest of the troupe wants, though? Again, what harms? I I totally understand how he's feeling, right? Like, I totally understand I come from an outside perspective. Of course he's going to be feeling like you're responsible. That's the first real emotional reaction. And of course he should have said something as well, but it's also like this thing where it's like, every single person here in the troupe is so hurt by this.
You've screamed and shouted at each other for long enough.
Furina's stepping up.
Now pipe down, both of you.
This is such a big deal for Furina as well. Like, this is the first time in this quest we've really seen her, like, take, like, command of a situation.
Can you stop conflating the show on stage with your real-life relationships in the troupe?
Oh my god, Furina.
You keep saying that you want to use this final performance to pay tribute to your director and celebrate her life. How can you do that if you're just using it as an excuse to vent your own emotions?
Furina just...
You're right.
Like, that's such a huge moment for Furina. She was so timid and so docile, and she's like really like stepping up here to say,
I'm sorry.
On stage, the lead role is the focal point of the audience's attention.
Yeah.
And you're all used to seeing the director as the heart of the troupe.
I can't believe that Furina's been even able to do this. The fact that she's even able to do something like this for other people right now, especially in the state she's in.
But in her own life, her greatest desire wasn't to be the center of attention. I can tell how much she loved you all, and how much she loved the troupe.
Especially with how, like, you all talk about her as well.
What she wanted was to build a warm home for all of her brothers and sisters. To shield you all from the storms that rage in the world outside. That's how you should remember her. And I understand
sorry, Furina, I'm so sorry.
You're trying to make her the hero of the story, but isn't she your hero already?
That is so freaking beautiful. Isn't she your hero already? They're trying to make her into a hero, trying to fulfill her story, but she's already their freaking hero.
Yeah.
So think hard about what that means. And then think again about what you hope to achieve by arguing with
This is
each
beautiful,
other.
Furina. This is absolutely beautiful.
If you really hate each other and can't reconcile your differences, then you could just call it quits now. Why bother with the final performance if the group is already fractured?
And I think this is such an important thing for, like, again, like for Furina to say, to be like, hey, look, like, and it is, and I think it is something that they need to hear as well, which is like, you are the ones that want to do this performance. You're the ones that want to do this for your teacher. If you can't agree on anything and you're just, again, because the whole play, it really feels like when we met the, Paolo and Villamont, like, it really feels like they are just like putting this off because nobody probably wants to even finish the play. So she's like, okay, then don't finish it. Don't even do the final performance if you're already all in this state.
But you can't bring yourself to do that, can you? You care too much about Dr. O'Reilly and the home she built you all to let go. What are you laughing at? I don't see what's so funny.
Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. It's just that for a moment there, it felt like our director was back with us again.
That's so sweet. Like, being able to, like, freaking, like, see their director in Furina and in her story.
If she'd seen Paulo and Vilmont at each other's throats like that, she would have scolded them exactly like you did, in that same stern voice.
Frida, looked like you actually helped a lot today.
Really? But she sounded like such a gentle person.
We know Furina's a gentle soul as well. Look at the first time she talked into the mirror. Actually, no, again, like, by the way, I'm not giving out to Paimon. I'm just saying, like, you know, I get excited about this stuff. We know Furina's a gentle soul as well, and that's why it makes so much sense too. That Furina's able to do this also. Yeah, it just makes so much sense.
Of course she was. Even her harshest lectures came from a place of kindness, and it showed. She really was a truly outstanding person.
To have someone like that in your life is so important.
What you said, it really puts everything into perspective.
Really well done, Furina. Really well done.
I'm truly sorry. I really meant for this to be a genuine apology, but I ended up making it all about me and my self-pity.
I really feel that what Furina was saying was true, but also I really feel like they were trying to put off this thing because I think it feels like a conclusion, right? And it feels like then you can't feel sorry for yourself. And then on the other side of things, you can no longer have this longing of like a conclusion, which is probably keeping them all going in a way too.
It's all right. Let's save all this for after the performance.
So, the ending. What are we gonna do about it?
Clearly, everyone needs to take a step back for now and reflect on what really matters. When emotions are running high, things get lost in the fray.
I am like, hearing Furina say this stuff just means so much to me.
The end of the story needs to focus back on Aurelie herself. She's the true star of the show.
It might actually be possible to find out more about her fate.
What do you mean?
The Traveler is right. You once investigated that underwater synth base and recovered items belonging to the victims.
Yes.
If you could find anything that Aurelie left behind, perhaps we can get a better sense of what she went through in her final days.
Furina, you're so smart.
You really think that's possible?
I trust that nobody would object to the ending of the story being based on Aurelie's true feelings.
I think Furina's also saying, again, like, we're relating it to her and Furina's story as well, right? Like, Furina would, also, like, the ending... her story's not ended, by the way, but her story has reached a point where, like, she's probably feeling like her true feelings, like, were forgotten for years, which they were. And she would love to have I bet she would love to have a time as well where she could also express her true feelings. Where she deserves to, and she does deserve to express her true feelings.
No.
Well, we'll leave this in your capable hands.
Really good.
Come, let's pay a visit to the Palais Mermonia. The rest of you, head back to the rehearsal location for now, and wait for our good news.
Like, and look how she took command of this as well. Like, to be able to do this while still being so open with her emotions and not just being like, Furina the Archon all the time. It's really impressive to me. Look for the former Troupe director's belongings in the Palais Memoria. I thought we were going to go into like a domain or something. Should we get this? No, we'll get it later. We'll get more of exploration videos. No, like, if you get what I'm saying, like, for this as well, it's like, it's not just like the situation of like, she has to express herself, or she should express herself. It's one of those situations where I feel like it is like kind of her saying like, I would also like to express my truth. And that's something I would definitely like to do at some point. And I think that's what she found in us as well. And I feel like she doesn't want the troupe to be fractured as well, because she also wants them to also speak their truth to each other. And the idea of truth and expressing your true feelings and not hiding your true feelings and bottling them up is something that Furina knows so much about. So much about. So it's really interesting that she's actually the one that's witnessing the story here as well. Even though she never, I really feel like, again, she never shouldn't have felt pressured even to, not pressure, but shouldn't have felt like she needed to do this anyway for anybody. So yeah, I'm really actually impressed by that. Sadine, our live in the moment girl.
You want to review some recovered items connected to victims of the serial disappearances case? But, that case has been closed for quite a while.
Talk to Nerva. No, Sadine's great. I don't want to even, like, do the whole, like, talk to my friend Nervalette,
Still, since you were the ones who discovered and submitted the evidence in the first place, you don't actually
for real?
submit an application. Okay, please hold on. I'll have someone dig them out.
So if I commit a crime and I submit some evidence, can I just take it out again for the trial? Sadine's awesome, though. Sadine's great.
So... this is all Aurelie left behind. Just whatever she was carrying on her person and this tattered old notebook.
I wonder what the notebook says.
Hey! It's full of script lines! And sketches too! Looks like they show where the different props should be placed on stage.
Yeah, man. I was in a play before when I was much younger. In a nice theater, and I remember this is the stuff you would see, like people like, especially like the kind of creatives of the play would be carrying around all the time, like these notebooks and stuff. I guess not only notebooks, like sketch pads or even refill pads, and like if you ever got to like take a look at them, they would literally just be like the most like absolutely interesting thing you've ever seen, because it's like, again, you wouldn't really understand it. For me personally, you wouldn't really understand it from like an outside perspective altogether. If you were into like performances and all that stuff, you'd be like, oh, I get what they're saying here. But it's sometimes very difficult to understand. I don't know if I'm going to do that here, but I'm just trying to speak from my own perspective.
Let me take a look. Maybe there's something in here from after she was kidnapped. Aha! I found something. To whoever discovers this diary.
Oh, so there actually is something here. It's not just like her doing like scribbles and stuff.
Looks like she kept a detailed record of her captor's
Whoa.
actions. She even mentions the truth behind the experiments on dissolving young women.
So she... What?
If we'd had the chance to examine this notebook carefully back then, it would have been a conclusive piece of evidence proving Vacher's guilt.
But we didn't think of it at the time because there's no way that, like, at the time, you could definitively say that she was related to those cases.
Vacher took so many lives. It's still so unthinkable how many victims he had.
20 years, Paimon, you're right. You're so right, Paimon. It's horrible. It's so horrible.
I guess O'Reilly must have written all of this down in the hope that her records would one day be of use to investigators. Wait, it cuts off.
Is something wrong?
Her handwriting here gets patchier and more illegible by the line. She probably didn't have much strength
Horrible
left.
to think about, isn't it? Absolutely horrible to think about.
Her final words are... I'll let you read them for yourselves.
Oh my god, even... Are you okay, Furina? We have to read them? Someone else was taken that makes 6, or perhaps the 7th. Someone tried to escape yesterday but was caught. She hasn't been seen since. Was that yesterday? Maybe not. I've long since lost track of time. So I don't know if writing this or is any use or how much longer I can do it for. I can already see my fate approaching. But what terrifies me more is the thought of seeing others from the troupe here. Have I truly protected them? Sorry, I can write no more. I think a fever in my old stomach, troubles have returned. But nobody has given me any medicine. I suppose I'm more of a fortunate than Tracy, the pain that keeps her awake at night all night. I suppose they think that anything goes so as long as the experimental subjects can be used up before they die. It is so damp here. I have given her my blanket, so cold, so cold, so cold. As long as one persists, all things will pass. There will be a reward for hard work. I'll like to tell them such things, but it is I who is losing my grip. If anyone sees that the troupe safe, them important, please, farewell, apologize, life, before and future, regret. Cleo. This page is an absolute mess and the writer's pen seemed to have wandered in the surface at random. Only some words can be made out and barely at that. From this page onward, the diary stops to be replaced with lyrics from musicals. Some are in the form of newspaper clippings, other are handwritten with many crossings out and changes. It is apparent that the paper has been referenced often and that it was a personal notebook of artistic director Oriel. Yeah, no, he was just as bad as, not just as bad, but he is like, he's on the level of like an evil, like Dottore. Very evil. Evil person. Evil, selfish person.
So
Evil, selfish. There's no even gray area there at all. I'm sorry, but like, for me, like as I said during the trial, like, I understand that like he was upset by what was happening with his wife, but there's no real excuse for the horrible torture, and it's torture, that people went through. She watched the girl get dissolved it's torture.
She may have been a mighty hero in the eyes of her troupe, but at the end of the day, she was only human.
The way they're relating this to, again, Furina was the hero of Fontaine, the one everyone looked up to, but she was only human the whole time.
I can't bear to think how painful and lonely her final days must have been. Wait. This part on the last page sounds strangely
And before we move on as
familiar.
well, again, I keep saying, like, Furina talking about loneliness. If there's one person that understands loneliness, it's Furina. Flipping through the notebook, the lyrics continue. However, one page has been torn out, folded up, and placed next to a last blank page. At the bottom of the folded note are 2 lines Oriela has written, in handwritten, more legible than before, but it seems it took her both great effort and a great deal to write. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want? Because I'm an older sister to them, I love them. If you become human, you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. What?
If you become human,
What does this mean?
you can reveal your secret to no one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you want?
This is like Furina's story, right?
Isn't that the most important line in the Little Oceanid?
But like, I was reading to Furina's story, I forgot it was in the Little Oceanid. But like, it feels so tied to who Furina is.
Because I am an older sister to them.
Oh.
So she didn't regret her decision. Even as she sat in silence.
Because she wanted to protect them.
Waiting for death to come.
So horrible.
I'm sure this is what the troupe would have hoped to hear as well. She had their utmost trust, admiration, and love. and she truly deserved it. Let's go. It's time for them to learn Director O'Reilly's final thoughts.
I mean, regardless of anything that's going on here, it's like in terms of like the Troupe, like, right? And I know I keep like going back to Furina because the Troupe is an important story as well. But like I really would just like to like, you know, sit down with Furina again like we did at the boat and say, look, are you okay? Because this is not easy. And again, it's like there's so much that that's probably reminding her of her own sadness. So much. The idea of if you turn into a human, you will reveal you will reveal you have to live in sadness and in this lie. I forget the exact line, but you know what I mean. It's like very much like exactly, like it feels exactly like that's the wrong place we're going to. We're going down to see. I would love to see Navia, to be honest. I never really understood, like, when I was younger, the idea of a comfort character, but Navi is definitely, like, one of those characters, I think, for me. It's funny, because she's brought me great discomfort with her sadness, because obviously it's very sad to see this, but, like, every time I see her now, I, like, just get this really great feeling of joy, you know? It's like we wanted to be there for her, but also, like, I absolutely adore her, and she makes my days brighter. But yeah, like for Furina to actually have to live through this, and then to relive this is incredibly powerful. And again, I don't want to make it seem like people who aren't able to do this aren't strong, because the thing, as I said, if she wanted to, I would sit there and eat pasta and sauce with her every day until she was ready to step out and have a conversation with someone else. I would do that with her, because I absolutely adore her, and her story is one of the most heartbreaking tales I've ever heard in my life. But to be able to do this is, like, incredible. Like, I don't know how, I wouldn't be able to do it. Some weep bitterly and some grind their teeth with a howl and rage. A long time passed where the group is able to calmly come together and make a final decision. Okay. So they read the whole thing.
She deserves a hero's farewell. If that's the only way to convey to the audience the courage and selflessness that she showed in the face of death, then it's a meaningful way to end the story.
Because that's the thing. The way she died was horrific. It is one of the most horrible, degrading, disgusting, life-taking, like humanity erasing ways you can die. But she still wanted to leave something for you guys, which is what is so freaking impressive.
Even in the last moments of her life, she was still leaving a trail for others to follow.
She cared so much about you guys.
She did her best to protect as many people as possible, even if it meant sacrificing herself.
Mm-hmm.
We know what choice our little Oceanid would have made now. I don't think any more discussion is necessary. Well, Vilmont, if we put the past aside for now...
Oh my god.
Do you think you can bring yourself to go ahead with the show?
I can't believe I'm getting so invested in this troupe that, like, I was totally ready to abandon it. Well, again, for Furina, but you know what I mean?
I will channel all my regret and put it into my performance to make this a show worthy of our director.
Good. And this is exactly what she would have wanted. If you want to honor someone, you do what they would have wanted, and she would have wanted you to be here as well.
I won't ask for your forgiveness, and you don't need to worry about my feelings. This final farewell show should be about Director O'Reilly and her alone.
Yeah, it's about her. It's about her. I don't know, it's about, she would want it to be about you guys as well, in a way of, like, coming to terms with all this, making better life, going on with the show, becoming better actors, performers, maybe even helping the troupe out.
Then it seems like we've reached a consensus. I have a feeling that this will turn out to be the most mesmerizing performance of your lives.
I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed that she was able to come this far. And, like, you know, and again, it's still, like, probably, like, a lot. Again, it's not a cure. It's not a cure. It's probably taking her mind off it quite a bit to help other people, and to help other people realize their truth before it's too late as well, before it eats them up inside too. But still, it's not going to cure anything inside of her. But it's probably a very nice band-aid right now, like a soothing ointment that, like, you know, puts everything to, you know, all those itchiness and that coarseness to rest for just a bit before it starts up again in a few hours.
Really? How can you be so sure when you've never even seen them perform before?
A performer knows. A performer knows.
Don't underestimate my experience. After watching a countless number of musicals, I've learned one important thing.
I'm glad that her laugh, by the way, which I think is one of the prettiest laughs in the history of Genshin so far, is such a gorgeous laugh. I'm so glad that it's no longer a sign of like at least right now it feels like it's more like a sign of like it's a hopeful laugh or like a cheerful laugh than it was like just putting up a performance all the time, you know? And I'm glad we get to hear it in a different tone because she does have a gorgeous laugh.
If you want to move the audience with your music, you must fully commit and immerse yourself in your role, pouring all your emotion into your performance.
She's incredible. She's incredible.
And aren't human emotions, love, hate, regret, and hope, just the most mesmerizing things in this world?
And again, just the desire to be a normal human and her saying this stuff as well.
I don't believe anybody could be more committed to bringing this story to life on the stage than they are now.
I'm internally impressed. I'm just like mesmerized by Furina. Mesmerized.
Thank you for the vote of confidence, Miss Furina. And thank you for supporting us through all this.
Then, let's not delay things any longer. We need to discuss the
yes,
details
they're all together
of
on the right page right now.
Once and for all.
Actually, before that, I'd like to make a proposal.
Yeah?
During the curtain call, please allow me to use the director's name instead of my own.
Oh, wow.
Huh? But then...
After all, this role was originally meant to be played by the director. I'm just filling in for her. Besides, a role commemorating her life should be associated with her name.
Well, if you're sure you're okay with that, I have no objection to it.
I wonder how you guys would feel about that personally. Because like I'm not sure. Like because for me, like it's like I think it's whatever they would. They know exactly what you would want right now, and they probably understand it better. So I'm kind of gonna go with it. I just think that she also, the way she talks about it, I think the director would also probably want you guys to be fully credited for everything.
Now we're talking like a serious.
You see what I mean? That laugh is so beautiful, and to get to actually hear it in a way that's more positive than it is negative is such an amazing thing for me.
All right, I'll leave you to fine-tune your musical while I go and procure a
Furina!
stage.
Procure a stage?
Wait.
Oh, it's okay. Our usual place doesn't need a
Is she gonna get the... No
that
way.
Place? Oh, don't be silly.
No.
For an
Look at her.
extraordinary show, we need an extraordinary stage. By which I, of course, mean the Opera Epiclese.
I kind of thought she was gonna do that. That's insane. That would be insane.
Whoa, wait, what?
Holy hell.
No. That's never going to work. It's far too fancy for the likes of us.
What are you afraid of? Surely you don't think that Aurelie's story is unworthy of the grandest stage in Fontaine.
No, though that's not what I meant.
She, again, like, that's a very Furina thing to do. Like, surely you don't think, you know,
It is supposed to be your grand finale, right?
go big or go home. This is
I have no
huge.
problem with it then. How about the rest of you?
Come on, guys, it's your finale. I'm getting chills. I'm getting chills.
I'll take your silence as a yes.
There you go.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity. It really is a dream come true.
And again, I think for Furina, this is her. She's going to be happy the fact that she helped 4 people. Because remember she said she wanted to see how everything was on the ground level, the emotions that she felt on the ground level. And relating it to her again, like how she was able to see these people tear each other apart at the idea of not knowing the truth and having different ideas of what the truth could be, and then trying to hide behind their own feelings so that they could like push people away, which is what Furina was doing as well. They just wanted, like, there was 2 of these, especially 2 of these characters here were trying to be like, no, don't do it. And you could even say like him trying to get like Delphi out of it as well was kind of trying, him kind of being like, even though he's concerned, there also was a way of kind of like giving up. They were all trying to give up at one moment, just like, you know, again, Furina was not trying to give up because she did something that was absolutely amazing, but she also was like someone who like the truth destroyed her, and it's something she like had no choice in. You know, the inner truth destroyed her. In this case, she's helping 4 people not get destroyed by that truth.
Well, then
That they're
don't
hiding.
disappoint me.
Don't disappoint me.
If you mess this up, it'll reflect poorly on me too. Come on, we'll need to get the go-ahead from Nerilette. I know just where to find
Yeah,
him.
and you need to tell me if you're okay. Because the fact is, I'm glad that maybe you're finding a positive to do with performance. That's fantastic. I'm so happy that you're finding a positive through this something that was very negative for you for so long. Because it seems like maybe like the only thing you enjoyed was sometimes the performance aspect. But if you're finding something positive through performance, then I'm all for it, as long as you're okay. That's the only reason I'm okay with it. If you can find this side of the performance stuff more positive, then like I will take that, no problem. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Like I said, and I'll say it again. If she wanted me again to just eat macaroni with her for days on end, I would. Is Nouvellette just up here just chilling?
Hey, look at that. Looks like I guessed right.
And is this the first time she's seen...
You were just guessing?
She knows him. Is this the first time you've seen Nouvellette since everything happened? I wonder.
I knew you'd be here.
I'm here merely for a short break. It has been a while, Miss Furina. And you too,
So good.
Traveler in Paimon. What might I assist you with today?
I know it's only been for me like a few days. Obviously, this time has passed quite a bit. But like, I'm so happy to see Nouvellette whenever I get to see him.
I would like to book the Opera Epiclese for an event. You see...
And if you don't let her book it, you will be something. I think it's such a great thing for. And again, Furina is doing this obviously.
The process for booking the Opera Epiclese is complex and can be somewhat cumbersome. But given that the request is coming from the three of you, I see no reason to make things unduly difficult.
Thank you, Nouvellette. And he said the three of you, that means so much to me, and it means so much that he says this thing about Furina as well.
The story of the little Oceanid is most fascinating. I'm looking forward to seeing it performed on stage.
This is what I mean. I said this last time and people actually quite enjoyed it. And I think they were like, you're right. You're so right. He is forced to just be this gentle king who enjoys life. And I know he wants to be he's born to be a gentle king that just wants to enjoy life and enjoy life's small things. But he's forced to like just be to lock in. He really is.
I will say, however, that I am surprised to see your passion for the performing arts rekindled after all that has happened.
This has been on my mind for the whole time, Nouvellette.
Huh? What do you mean? Do I look excited?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. This is the first time that I've seen you like this since your departure from Deity.
So he has seen her and he's probably been so worried. Again, if she can find something positive about the idea of performing, and even like if she does stuff from the side now, like that's so amazing. I love Nouvellette saying this. That's such a sweet thing to say.
At first, I just felt bad about rejecting them.
I could tell.
So
I
wanted to learn a little bit more about their situation. But one thing led to another, and well, here we are.
If this is how you rekindle it, Furina, if this is how you rekindle it, and this is how you make yourself feel better about this stuff, like, as long as you still are able to come to terms with a lot of the stuff that's on your mind, and a lot of stuff that's in your heart, if this helps you get feel a lot better, like I'm all for it.
In the past, we sat in our high chairs in the court, giving our opinions on isolated cases, all while knowing very little about the human stories behind each and every one.
I'm so... Furina, from when we met her first, she was standing on the highest pedestal looking down on us, talking to us from there. It was so rare that when we saw her, we get to, in the early stages of the game, that we get to see her anywhere but like a high pedestal. She's eye to eye with so many people now.
Maybe it's because I finally become an ordinary person and gained my freedom. But I've developed a great sense of curiosity about their lives.
And that's what Furina's so... I'm sorry if I keep talking, but Furina's so special to me because the fact that she's like talking about like curiosity about their lives and she'd always wanted to be curious. It's also the fact that like so much of Genshin is like, especially like, you know, we have like, you know, people going after gnosis and people like wanting power, people wanting to have like visions, people doing delusions and people like doing all this stuff that like they really like would want to become powerful. Like being power hungry is a thing for a lot of people in Genshin. Not even power hungry. Some people just want to feel more powerful. Some people want to be stronger. Furina is a character that like doesn't want that. She just wants to have like an ordinary life.
I am truly delighted to see you find a new lease on
Nouvellette.
life.
He's so happy. And look at the difference in Nouvellette now, because he probably knew, like, he knew that it was all a facade. Like, he knew, like, at the very least that she was, like, acting. He didn't know the truth behind it, but he knew that wasn't, he was never getting a sincere conversation with her most days. Because remember early on, we were like, oh, does he not like her? He's like, oh, there she is, you know? And now he's speaking to her as if he would. He's speaking to her like when he speaks to, like, Sigewinne or Sadine or any other Melusine, right? He's speaking to her like you are the most precious thing in the world right now, and this is why I'm giving you the soft tone.
Now that you've regained some confidence, have you had any thoughts regarding a return to the stage?
That's a big step. That's a big step. We need to talk baby steps first.
Why would you suddenly ask a question like that?
Well, if the Little Oceanid turns out to be a great success, it will no doubt become a classic. Many theater companies are certain to add it to their repertoire. The experiences and decisions of the protagonist, Cleo, are all modeled after your own. Naturally, this makes you eminently suited to playing the leading role.
How do you feel about this, Furina? How do you feel?
It would truly be a shame if you did not take this opportunity to allow audiences to enjoy your outstanding acting talents once more.
I agree she's outstanding. She's incredible, an incredible performer. But, if she doesn't want to do it, we'll eat macaroni at home.
Haven't I already made myself clear? I won't act or perform in any role ever again. No exceptions.
And if that's the boundary you want to keep, we'll keep it.
Nor do I think it is any great shame. There is no lack of fine actors or inspirational stories, either on or off the stage.
If that's how you truly feel and you're setting that boundary for yourself, we will die for that boundary for you.
This experience is a case in point. I feel like I've learned a lot, and it has already been well worth the price of admission. I must admit, though, I'm a little envious. They're quite fortunate to be able to bid farewell to their past in such a magnificent manner.
Because your farewell to your past was packing up your bags, and I said it was still an amazing thing because you probably meant a lot. Like, getting to do such a normal thing as pack up your bags and eat macaroni every day, I keep mentioning macaroni because it's just such like it means more than people will say. It has such a big meaning to this quest.
I see. Well, I'm glad to learn that you have found a role to play that you enjoy, be it on the stage or not. I sincerely hope the show will serve as the grandest of finales. I will have my staff book the date and mail the relevant paperwork to the troupe once the details are confirmed.
That's awesome, Rivulet. Thank you so much. Sweetheart. Absolute sweetheart. I love the way he was talking to, obviously, I don't think he's trying to be forceful. I don't think it's a situation where, he's trying to be like, you should do it. He's just like, to me, it's like the way, how do I say it? It's like the way, your grandma might be like, might bring up something that they don't know is, incredibly, he does know it's incredibly difficult, but, it's kind of like when they do, oh, I so wish you would do, those, that thing again, or get into this thing again, and you're like, oh, well, that kind of, really was hurtful and stuff like this, and I don't really want to ever do that again. It's like, oh, well, I really wish you, you know what I mean? I feel like it's not trying to come from a place of trying to be forceful, because again, if she didn't do this, I'm sure he'd support her 100%. As he just said. He just said he'd support her 100%.
Many people were once enthralled by Lady Furina's performances, myself included.
Yeah, she's amazing.
I hope that one day she'll be able to understand that our appreciation was always sincere.
The word sincere got me there so bad. Because it's that yes, a lot of the performance wasn't real, right? Yes, her performance was real. In fact, the idea of a performance and how good she was in performing was real, right? That part is real. But obviously, her feelings behind it was a lot of suffering, a lot of sadness. But what Nouvelette said there is such an amazing thing to say to anyone. It's like, yes, the performance aspect that hurt you so bad was not real. It was not real. But we loved you. And the people loved you. And that's so freaking incredible to me. And that's, I think that's what she can take away from this as well in some ways too, where it's even though she didn't love the performance, or she didn't love aspects, she probably, I think actually performance is probably something she did enjoy, some aspects of the performance. There's still she enjoys, the people enjoyed her a lot and loved her a lot and adored her and adored Furina and they centered their entertainment, their life around her, their days off around her. And that's not a pressure to come back, by the way. I don't think Nouvelette is phrasing it like this. I think it can be perceived as that. I think if you look at it just the way it is, it seems like a selfish thing. Oh, we adored her, so why can't she come back? But he's not saying that. He's saying it's okay to hope. Especially if once she said I'm setting a boundary, he was like, sure. And then he said straight afterwards to us in private, I would hope that she would come back, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? if a Smosh member, and I'm using Smosh because it's my favorite channel, if they left a channel tomorrow, and the reason they left is because, like, you know, Smosh didn't bring them happiness before. Like, I think it's 100% okay for me to be like, I respect their boundaries and I respect them wanting to do this, but at the same time be like, I wish they would come back. You know what I mean? It's still that feeling. There's still those feelings there. Yeah. I think it's such a powerful thing from Nouvellette there. Really powerful scene.
Good news, everyone. It's done.
Just like that.
The opera epiclese.
Just like that. Look how amazing she is. Look how amazing she is.
Thanks to my eloquent and impassioned speech, Monsieur Nouvellette was moved to provide us with a fitting stage for this special performance.
Incredible.
We've had to fight every step of the way for this opportunity, but we now have all of the ingredients necessary to stage a truly spectacular performance. A touching story, a magnificent venue, and last but not least, a passionate and dedicated cast.
That's for true. That's for true. Look at this. Look what she did for these guys. You did this, Furina. I think the curiosity that she had in understanding people's lives led to this troupe being rekindled.
Now, let's work together and make this show the best it can be.
Sweetheart among sweethearts.
This is truly wonderful.
The sooner we can finalize the ending, the more time we'll have to rehearse.
Get it done.
Molly and I just went over some parts of the script
Together?
and tweaked a few things. I think it's really going to resonate with the audience
Awesome.
now.
Wow, you two had a constructive conversation? That's great!
It's awesome. It's really awesome.
Communication is vital to any good performance.
Look at us. We've come so far. I never could have pictured this scene a few days ago.
I bet. And again, it's all thanks to, and again, it's Furina. It's Furina. She saw this and wanted to make sure they didn't get torn apart.
Furina's still being a bit of a drama queen about it all. She's really fired everyone up.
Paimon, we rarely disagree. I think, oh, well, I guess like you're saying like she is being like a queen of drama, maybe. If I had a face camera, I would look into it there because I would agree she's being a queen of drama. Is the queen of drama. But like, I think that she's like, you know, helped so many people today. And if she needs to let off steam by doing a little bit of a performance, we can deal with all that stuff later as well. I'm really looking forward to the final production.
Please feel free to give us any comments or suggestions you have. We really value your input.
My disagreements with Paimon, by the way, that we rarely have, by the way, it's okay to have that because Paimon is my mother, my best friend, everything, so.
Hey, Loic, get over here. Time to practice the opening number.
Oh, look at this image! If Furina's able to do this in a healthy way, oh my god, I am all for it. Paimon doesn't know what she's doing with her. I think Paimon's just like, oh, look at us chatting over there as well, look.
Accursed
Holy
Cleo.
hell.
She stole the waters of life from us. She's a fraud.
That's a beautiful
and
set.
She must pay for her crimes.
Seeing a play on the stage is so it's perfect for it. It's perfect for a play.
This has nothing to do with her. The ignorance and hatred of our people is to blame. How can we hope to win back the water's favor if we don't change our ways?
This guy could be useful. Take him hostage. If Cleo wants him back, she'll have to show herself.
I can't get over how beautiful this set is. It's so gorgeous.
Leave this place, O little Oceanid, and never, ever look back.
She reminds you of
Everyone's really throwing themselves into their roles.
Marianne.
I haven't seen such a fine performance in a long time. If only.
If only what?
What should we do? It's almost time for her to take.
Is she feeling bad?
Why does it
Catching
have
up
to
with
be
her.
now?
It's catching up with her.
Hey, what's going on? You're due on stage any second now.
She's clearly very sick.
Oh no, not again. But why? What about your new meds? Did they stop working?
They've been getting less and less effective over time. I've had to keep increasing my dose.
What? I thought they cure it. So they were only managing your symptoms?
Right.
I figured whatever it took to get me through this final performance.
That's horrible.
How could you do this to yourself? And after that lecture you gave me about not looking after my health.
I'm sorry.
No, don't think of do not think of it like that. Do not think of it like that.
You... This is a conversation for another time. How can the show go on without its star performer?
Are they gonna make Furina perform? Is that what they're leading to here?
Miss Furina, I'd like to make
She set a boundary. And if she meant that boundary, I'm here to stick with it for her.
Say no more. If you're sick, you need to rest. I know what you're going to ask. Loic, your character has no more scenes, correct?
Oh, yeah. I think my scenes are all done. Although, I do have one more line. But I guess another guy in the troupe with a similar voice register could take it. Why?
Please take Delphi back to her place to rest.
Furina!
I'll sing the finale.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
From the sublime to the ridiculous. After all that, everything.
But are you sure?
Full circle.
Are you sure?
Thank you, Miss Furina. I'm so sorry to put you in this position after everything you said.
Never mind. What's done is done. It's really my own fault for getting in too deep.
Are they trying to tell the story here that Furina does love the performances? Like, does love some aspects of the performances and maybe did want to get back into performing at some point, and this just kind of like fast-tracked it in a way? Because if she's not feeling, if she like, again, I told you I would die for that boundary that she made. I would die for it. I think it's so important.
No one likes regrets, myself included. Leave it to me. I've watched you rehearse so many times that I've learned Cleo's part by heart.
But this is a decision she's making, by the way. She is making this decision. And if it is her making this decision because she wants to do this, and this is something that will help her, because I'm going to have to see the ending of this as well to see where this goes, then I'm all for it. If she feels pressure to do it, if she feels like she has to do it at this stage, she doesn't have to do anything.
I do not doubt your acting skills, but please allow me to ask just one more question. After all, this show is dedicated to the life and legacy of our director. What, in your opinion, is the reason Cleo shines so brightly?
Very interesting question. Such an interesting question.
It's her pure heart.
Wow.
Despite all the pain
Stop.
and loneliness she had to endure, she never once stopped believing in the beauty in this world.
That's Furina. No matter all the pain she felt, she still was trying to find a way to save everybody. That's Furina.
Well said. I leave Director O'Reilly in your hands.
Oh my god. If this is what she wants. If this is what she wants, then I'm all for it. The spotlight's on Furina again. Oh my god, my heart is racing. I can barely breathe. I'm feeling it so bad. Are we getting we are.
Is she here yet? Let's get here.
What is
Not coming. You're wrong.
It's the play itself, but if they're telling it through the story. And this is her arriving. Oh! Her voice! She looks amazing. And her... Forgive our sins. Oh my god, forgive our sins! Look at how beautiful this is. Oh my god, with the water flowing down. Holy hell, this is gorgeous. And thee, my beloved.
But what about your wish?
Look at this, the way they're depicting this. Oh, Furina, if this is what she wants, then I want it, because this is beautiful, but... Like, it's a beautiful depiction, it's gorgeous. The town is burning as well.
If you become human,
or is this just a vision of what could happen if you become human?
No one. You will face suffering and loneliness. Is this truly what you
She's
want?
faced that. She used to feel. Oh my god, she's reliving all these aspects of her life. Oh my god. The song is beautiful. This whole scene is beautiful. Voice! Ferret. Are you hearing this? This is Furina singing? This is Furina singing? Look at how beautiful this is. Furina on the... Leave her alone. Please leave her alone. Look how beautifully depicted she is in the art as well. No, is she getting a vision? She's getting a vision. But she disappeared. Wait, is she? Did she get... Or is she leaving it behind? Oh my god, and the curtains close. That was an incredibly beautiful scene. She did so well, I have so many chills. But is this what she wanted? Is this what she truly wanted? The music of that was incredible. So freaking good. And we're on stage too.
Just me? Who was that leading Furina on the stage just now?
Yeah. Of course they're gonna notice her. It's Furina. Like, did she want this? Like, that's what worries me the most, is if she even hopefully, the production value of this. The incredible art was incredible. I'm just worried about Furina. That's all I'm worried about. That's all I'm thinking about right now.
She hasn't been seen for a while now. And she just appears out of nowhere?
You feel lucky that she did.
Gotta say, though, her acting skills are as superb as ever.
The Little Oceanid, Cleo,
holy hell.
Played by Aurélie Fumont.
Wait, that's not her name. What's going on?
Mind your business.
I don't know. Maybe it's just a doppelganger.
I've spent a lot of time out of the spotlight, and they didn't use my name during the curtain call either.
Oh no.
Hopefully, not too many people recognized me.
Oh no, no, no.
It's too bad that I had to break the one clear rule I'd managed to make for myself, even if I had no choice.
I'm gonna say this to you now, Furina. You did this because you're such a good person, and you're so and this is you constantly. Okay, now I'm hanging it. F this. Hanging in Irish is when you're like, it's an Irish slang, I believe, for when you're like, really heavy flow of tears. But no, you're constantly used to sacrificing stuff for people. You didn't have to do it. If you wanted to leave, I would have grabbed your hand and we would have gone. I would have done that. No problem.
Still, I have to admit that.
Every time she's opened her mouth now, I'm just feeling like so much emotions.
It felt good to be back on the stage again.
Finally, we would like to give a special thanks to our artistic consultant and event coordinator, Miss Furina.
Oh, there it is.
Hey, that's not what we
Yeah, they did not.
on.
She did not want that.
Oh, so it was Furina after all.
Don't even try it.
She's back.
Honestly, what is he doing? He should have run
He
that
should
by
have.
me first.
He should have respected your boundaries. 100%. He should have respected your boundaries.
All right, calm down. Don't be mad. This was a group decision. We just didn't want your contributions to go unacknowledged.
Okay, but you should have respected her boundaries. Do you understand me? Like, are you fools or something, like? Like what? Like what possessed you? What possessed you?
After all, it's been the rule in Fontaine since ancient times that everyone's work, visible or invisible, is equally deserving of recognition.
Couldn't give two F's about your ancient rules. I really couldn't. I really couldn't give it. I'm just worried about how she feels about this. To be honest, I'll be honest with you, Paolo.
Yes, I know the rule, but It should still be applied on a case-by-case basis. I wasn't ready for this yet.
My blood is boiling. My blood is boiling right now. I'm almost like motionless right now. She wasn't ready for this.
No big deal. What's the worst that could happen?
I wouldn't say this, to be honest. Most people say I wouldn't say this. I'll be honest with you guys. I wouldn't say this. It is a big deal for her. It's a really big deal for her, if I'm being honest with you.
Oh, yeah? Well, since you think it's so easy, you can sign them for me.
I will. Or I can tell them all to F off if you want. If anyone goes near you, I have no problem doing that.
This is a great chat and all, but can we talk about that crazy thing that happened during the show? It nearly gave Paimon a heart attack.
Are you... I'd love to get these... We just wanted to acknowledge you. We know that you have like a really emotional damage and you went through a lot, but we just want to acknowledge you. It's ancient rule. Ancient freaking rule. Yeah, an ancient rule, for sure. An ancient rule.
Paimon flew over to where she was supposed to be and was about to drop the prop vision, and then suddenly...
So it was a real vision. It wasn't. She got her vision. That's amazing. That's amazing. I was thinking that's what happened.
Oh,
Furina, that's fantastic. But do you want this again? Do you want this? I can hold this. I'm used to holding on to visions.
I've got no idea what happened there either. But hey, it worked pretty well, didn't it? I'll bet the audience has never seen such a realistic prop.
I thought that's what they were doing as well. But like in all honesty, I need you to know. Like, if you want me to hold on to this vision for you to be an ordinary person, I'll do it. I'm used to holding on to water visions.
Wait, what about Dolphy? I wonder how she's doing.
Yeah, how's she doing as well?
Let's go check on her as soon as we finish clearing the stage.
Yeah, you should find something for her to go against her wishes as well for her. No, that vision thing is absolutely incredible. It's so incredible. I was just getting so frustrated the idea that they even do this. To be honest.
Yes. Plus, she'll definitely want to hear how the end of the show went. If nothing else, we can safely say that we accomplished what we set out to do.
I'm happy for you. I'm happy that you got to have fun. I'm still so happy you got the vision. It's amazing. But I'm also like still very, very frustrated with those two guys. Sorry, guys. No, I'm sorry for getting frustrated, but maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not, because like because I'm just. I went from feeling highly emotional and shaking to full-on tears, to just being so frustrated at the idea that these two think that in some way that they're. Let's just be honest with what it is. It was stupidity on their part. It was dumb. It was absolutely dumb. And Furina got her vision, which is so fantastic. And if that's what she wants, that's amazing, because she deserves it. She deserves everything a bit of happiness that she could get.
Body and mind.
Everything. She did so much for those guys. She did so much for them. Where are you? Like, that's an incredible moment for anyone. Just like Vaughn getting his vision, you know, and just like now, Furina, it's an incredible moment for anybody. I'm so happy for her if this is what she wants. Just like you said, if she wants to eat macaroni for the rest of her life, I'll keep that vision for her. I'll keep it safe.
you're back.
Are you feeling okay?
She's doing okay. Her condition stabilized after taking some of her original medication. From experience, though, I'd say she still needs a few more days of rest.
Yeah. Understandable, no. It's serious what she put herself through for this.
How did the performance go? Was it a success? Did the audience like it?
Furina was fantastic. She was fantastic.
Glad to know it was fantastic. Also, you're not gonna believe what happened while Furina was on the stage.
Also, they all saw her get a vision?
Be able to read all about it in the Steambird first
That's
thing
incredible.
tomorrow morning.
That's insane. An actual real vision
That's
appeared.
Wonderful.
Like, it's an insane moment for, like, the Opera Epiclese as well. Like, and now like, she's gonna be tied to her forever because people are gonna be like, remember when Furina got a freaking vision on the freaking Opera Epiclese? Like, it's an amazing
I'm
moment.
so sorry I failed to see it through to the end.
Jesus Christ.
I guess I was wrong to try and
You were
tough
doing
it
something
out
that
to
you thought
begin
was
with.
right for you and you didn't want to miss it.
No, don't worry about it. Like they told me after announcing my name during the curtain call, everyone's work deserves recognition.
If that's how you feel now, then I will support you 100%, Furina. I still think that they should have done the bare minimum and run it by you. That's all.
Even though you couldn't see it through to the final scene, the audience was very impressed by your performance. It's safe to say that you made your mark on this memorial show.
Well, one way or another, we did it. I've had bad luck ever since I was born, so I never expect things to go smoothly in life. I'm just happy to know that we went out on a high note. That's all that matters.
Blaming your bad luck again, are we? Maybe if you didn't push yourself past your limits so much, your illness wouldn't be flaring up all the time.
Oh, don't you start. I don't have the energy to argue with you right now.
Yeah, dude, she's sick. Come on.
Aw, you two clearly care a lot about each
There's a lot of care in this troupe. There's a lot of care in this troupe, and Furina brought them all back together.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You mean we never stop arguing with each other?
True.
So, any plans for the next step? After the brilliant performance you put on, the reputation of your
there you go.
troupe is sure to spread through Fontaine like wildfire. You won't have to disband if you don't
course
want to.
You'll be so popular, but then I wonder if they're going to expect Furina to come back and do a final performance every time.
You could capitalize on the rave reviews and license out the Little Oceanid to the bigger theater troupes out there. That would do wonders for your financial situation.
And he's thinking about because he messed up the financial situation.
No, we should still disband.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, it's what we all agreed to.
After all that's happened, I should give you guys some space. But maybe our paths will cross again one day.
Hey, don't just walk off.
Dude, you're part of this as well. You might as well stay.
I still want to keep performing, so I might join another troupe.
Fair enough.
After watching Miss Furina's performance, I think I'm starting to understand our director's infatuation with musicals.
I need you to understand, though, this is Furina, by the way. One of this isn't, going to be the same as every other play. I need you to understand this.
It suits you. I'd originally hoped to keep performing too, but I don't know if my health will allow me to.
Oh, so now you finally got your priorities in order. I guess I'll hold off until you've properly recovered as well. What about you, Miss Furina? Any future plans?
Well, frankly, I think a return to obscurity is no longer an option for me. I'm sure a slew of consultancy requests will hound me wherever I go until I finally acquiesce.
But it seems that the consultancy part of this was very healthy for you. It seems like something that you were able to do without feeling overwhelmed. It felt like something good. You helped people with that stuff. And if that's what you want to do, then I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
You rather sealed my fate there with your special thanks at the end of the show.
Yeah, it still should have been your choice. I'll stand by it.
Sorry.
It's quite all right. No need to apologize. What I meant to say is that this whole experience has shown me that perhaps I'm not as averse to a return to the stage as I previously imagined.
This is what I said. I said this, that if she feels as this is the small steps that she needs to get back into performing, then that's fantastic. If she felt after that she felt better and afterwards she ripped a band-aid off, that's fantastic too. That's what I said from the start. If this is what she needed, again, I'll stand by her.
Maybe Nervilette was right. Maybe Cleo is the right role for me.
I'm going full mafia style, Furina. Any role you want, we're going to get you.
I still don't wish to pretend to be someone else, but I do have a desire to express myself. So, maybe the show will go on for me after all.
So that's a very healthy way of looking at the performances going forward then. It's the idea that she doesn't want to, like, she's not going to pretend to be someone else, but it's like a way to express her emotions. Just do whatever feels right to you, exactly.
Yeah. There was once a time when I was an actress in a masquerade, seeking only to hide the truth. But from now on, I want to spend my time learning real stories about real people and how they touch the lives of others around them. I want to watch them blossom and wither, see them refined on the page, retold on the stage, and remembered long into the future.
She sees this as the best way to see people express their lives and to work, through their own emotions is through the stage. And she's been wanting to see this for a long time.
I'm sure this is what captivated director O'Reilly as well.
Sounds like you're ready to stop running from your true calling.
Yeah, but again, like I said, if this is the steps that she wanted to take, again, I have no problem saying I'll support her.
The more you get out into the world, the more you'll discover what a fascinating place it is.
Yeah, I do agree with that. And that's what she wanted to find out. She wanted to find out. Next time I'll invite you to join me.
Then it's a deal.
See what I mean? Hearing that laugh in the context of a happier
If the
sense
vision
means...
is a gift from the gods.
Yeah, means you deserved it.
Then I should do my best to honor it.
Yeah. Is that it? Hello.
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god,
it's so...
I could
We have to talk
only
about
ever
that.
dream of receiving this kind of power.
You're incredible.
And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands. Is that how humans feel about it as well?
I don't know. I guess so. It just feel like you can be a master of your own destiny, right? It's interesting. Maybe you'll find that out eventually too. We've used so much to talk about.
I'm just finishing packing up. As soon as I'm done, I've got an interview with the Steambird to get to.
Oh, I already did the interview for you.
Thanks to all your help, the show was more perfect than we ever could have hoped for. But most of all, I want to thank you for giving me the chance to finally say farewell.
Yeah, that means the world to me. That means so much to me for all of you. That means so much to me. It really does. It really does.
I mean, of course I have some regrets, but...
There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future for us to tell the stories that we want on stage.
There we go. Calvin from the future here, and I wanted to say something about the upcoming conversation I'm about to have, because I wanted to say before the comments came out, because I didn't just want to say it in like a comment afterwards and people were like, oh, you're kind of changing your tune, and like, because I stand by everything I said mostly in this video. The one thing I do want to change my perspective on is I wish there was a scene in this when we were like talking to Furina afterwards, after they sold her out in the after the opera epic release, after the play, and they broke our boundaries in that sense. I wish the Traveler and Paimon just was said to the two of them, that was dumb. You are stupid for doing that to her after all she did for you. Apologize, but not only apologize, realize you shouldn't do that to anyone again, because it was not a nice thing to do. It's just not a nice thing to do. I understand why they were trying, when Paimon was like, it's not too bad, and like we were like, hey, I'll sign the autograph. You said get signed autographs. I understand why they put that in there. And I like, again, you can understand the intent was to make it seem like, look, you ripped the band-aid off and everything worked out. But ripping the band-aid off doesn't work for everybody. I say this in the video, it doesn't work for everybody. I still think this is a great story quest. I just wish we had a moment where we called those guys out as well. Furina had every right to call those guys out too. Furina deserved to call out those characters too, if she wanted to. I really do think she would. I'm worried that it's because of the Poisson situation, which you'd be worried about, like, going really angry at someone. She has a vision now, so she could have used that. I would have supported her if she wanted to use it. She did so much for those guys to kind of throw it back in their face. So the thing I wanted to change was when I said, like, I don't think that the writer should have put a moment in where we defended Furina and been like, Furina, it's all up to you while you feel you can. She did forgive him. but there still should have been a situation, and he did apologize, but there should have been a situation where we also called it out as well. That's my personal take, personally. And I wanted to add this in afterwards, because I still think this is a great story quest, and it was such a great time with Furina, and so great seeing her explore her story and things like this. Just that one moment, I wish they added something different to it, because there's so many amazing things about this story quest. I wish that they added a moment where she was allowed to be angry, because that's an ordinary human thing. That would have been human as well. Get angry at some people that were rude to you. We are finished with the Furina story quest, and like, I don't really want to leave Furina. Like, I'm looking at her, I just don't want to, like...
It's ironic to think that in my whole time as a god,
you can yell at her, speak again.
I could only ever dream of receiving this kind of power. And now that the gods have given me their blessing, it actually feels more like I'm finally able to take my fate in my own hands. Is that how humans feel about it as well?
Let's talk about this maybe like up here for a bit, because I don't really want to leave Furina just yet. It feels weird. Let's get it out of the way. It was really good, and I think that what it did for a lot of Furina's story was it was a way of Furina coming to terms with the idea of performing and her love for performance on the stage, while also helping other people deal with the truth inside of them and facing the truth inside of them before it eats them alive, right? This stuff at the end with Paolo and the other guy, regardless of how it turned out well. In the end, it was good, because Furina said for herself, this is actually a good thing. It ripped the Band-Aid off, right? This is not something that just works for everybody. This is not something that will be a one-size-fits-all. You could do that to someone else, and it could be the most traumatic day they've ever had. That's just the truth. And it sucks what they did. It just does. It sucks. It really sucks. The dialogue was a bit weird towards the end, but I'm going to get that out of the way, because I want to talk about it. Yeah, we got all the negative parts out of the way, but I think though it's not a negative about the story. To me, it just shows that like those two guys are dumb, you know. And in stories there are dumb people. That doesn't make it a bad story. It just means that there was like a few silly dumbos in the freaking story as well. Let's talk about what I think is good about this whole story. This Furina journey that we had with Furina, and we're gonna be talking about Furina, so let's actually leave now. This journey that we had with Furina meant the world to me. Getting to hear her laugh in the context of a happy moment rather than a sad moment meant the world to me. Getting to understand her on a level even more than we did in her other story as it related to someone else's story is such a beautiful thing to say. And I feel like what they tried to say at the end is that she got to express herself through a story that was similar to hers without having to sit there and talk through it with everyone. She did it in the way that she's most talented with, and the way she can do better than anyone. She performed a story that is very similar to her own and obtained a vision in the end, which is an incredible moment. That scene in the end was incredible. I think Furina was just incredible. The voice performance was incredible, Furina. They really touched on a lot of amazing moments here when it came to like Furina's story. Whether it be back in Poisson, her trying to like come to terms with the idea that a lot of people just don't like her anymore, and a lot of people don't love her anymore. But also having to come to terms with the idea that there's a lot of people that do still love her, and a lot of people that still do care about her, like us, and a lot of people that adore her, like the people here in the Court of Fontaine. There's also people like that. It was a very like rough story for her to actually have to go through all this. She was 100% in her right to set a boundary and say, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do that. But I think her taking on a consultancy work, if that helps her, I'm so for it. If that helps her ease into things and eventually she wants to get back into the performance and stuff, I am all for it. If that's something that she wants and is helpful to her and constructive to her. If it does not, then of course, then I hope that she, you know, does whatever she wants. Like I said, I would want her to eat macaroni for the rest of her life if that's what she wanted, and we'd eat it with her. We eat macaroni every single day. We go to the cafe every day. I wouldn't mind doing that with Furina. What else do I really want to talk about with this? When Furina got stood up to everyone and kind of made them all come to terms with the truth that was in themselves and stop running away from the truth. I think that Furina never ran away from the truth. I think that her story is more the fact that she had to run away from telling the truth to everybody to protect everybody.
Excellent.
So it doesn't really apply in that sense, but what it does do is that she knows what hiding the truth can do to people, and what pretending to feel something else that you don't actually feel can do to people. And in this sense, I think it's also part of her denying the fact that she would want to get back into the theater. I think she did all along want to get back into the theater at some point. I'm sure some of the aspects of theater was very fun for her. The performance was very fun for her. And I think what she really needed a lot of, right, was, first of all, she set that boundary, and if she wanted to keep the boundary, that was perfectly fine. I think when Neuvillette said to her, like, you were amazing, and I hope that someday we get to see you again. When we said she was amazing, when we were encouraging her and all the stuff that she wanted to do as well at times, and at times we were a bit weird about it as well, I totally acknowledge that. But I think those words from Neuvillette really made her realize, like, oh wow, people do support me, and I don't just have to hide away forever. I don't just have to, like, not do what I want to do, and what I want to do is this. And maybe she'll find other things she wants to do, and a consultancy job is such, like, a healthy thing as well to do, because she can help other people while also, like, still staying close to the performances as well. Yeah, my hope for Furina after all of this is that she wants that vision. And if she doesn't want the vision, she would give it to us, and I would hide it until she's ready to have that vision. Because I feel like she wanted to be an ordinary person this whole time, and now she can be an ordinary person just with a vision, right? Because all she wanted to be was like a lack of an like an Archon. She didn't want to be an Archon anymore. I always do parkour when I'm at the end of these guys. I'm sorry. But yeah, all she wanted to do was not be an Archon. But she could still be an ordinary person with a vision. You know, you have a vision. Yeah, you're powerful, but you're also, you know, like, and in, I guess, like, in, how do I say it, like, you also get to live your life in an ordinary way. You don't have to worry about all that stuff about being an Archon anymore. And I think it's such an incredible thing. It's no longer the 7, it's the 6. I hope I'm expressing myself very right here when I say that, like, if we can just look at the list here. I don't think the people at the end breaking her boundaries was a bad thing about the story. I think it was a bad thing about them. I think it was very dumb. It was very cruel. It's something you don't do. It's something you do, and you should apologize. And he did apologize. He apologized. And she said it was okay. So really this, but then again, she's probably in a position where, you know, we don't know if she means that or whatever, but I think she does. She now wants to, it turned out well in the end. Again, one size does not fit all. On the other side of things, I see a story about a character that truly did want to get back into performances in some way, but didn't really realize how to, like, approach it. Originally probably felt bad, but then, as she said, I felt bad, but now I actually really want to do this. And she helped a bunch of people face their truth and not have to live with the sadness of not facing who they are, like she was forced to do for so long. She was able to help people do that through a story and now express herself. She was able to tell everyone her story and express part of her story and who she was, and, like, a part of her story through like a play without having to talk about it all the time. And that's what she was able to do. It's a very touchy subject, and I will definitely listen to all your comments down below, and we'll talk about it down below as well. I still think this is a great story quest, and it was a great journey for Furina, and that cutscene at the end was absolutely incredible. If you are out there and you want to set a boundary, do so, and I will support you as well. And maybe, just maybe, there's people out there that support you also. And I'm glad that the lesson of this story is that there are people out there that still love Furina, and her love is still there, and there's people that will support her in anything she wants to do. And hopefully that is the moral of the story she'll take from this. Not that there are people that will break a boundary that she sets without telling her. I hope I described it very well, guys. And I think now we can probably say goodbye. And I'll say thank you so much for all your support this weekend. Thank you so much for everything. Thank you so much for making this such a fun weekend. Whilst also being one of the most emotionally devastating and crazy weekends I've ever had. I want to say thank you to the Never Gonna Pay the Baby Gangster on Patreon, Tyfire2, Jamie Bull, Jonathan Banana, The Ghost of Inazuma, Felicitas Felix, Yule, Radish Anusta, Malcolm Hyundai, Death Trap, Lynx Markey, Assassin, Alpaca Juice, Xander Whatever, I just threw my phone, Xander Whatever, and Yopsy. I'll see you all very soon. Let's do the thing. Perfect.